Hey everyone, the Talking Dads podcast is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus. Mention that you heard about them through our podcast, and when you tour, and you'll receive $25 off of your registration fee. Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together. We are also brought to you by Pub Fredo Gastropub. Pub Fredo was voted Best Gastropub in Cleveland in 2019 by Cleveland Magazine Silver Spoon Awards. We love Pub Fredo. Their menu is chef-inspired, always pushing the limits of traditional pub fare. The other night I had a burger, I believe it was called the Pub Burger. It was incredible. Cooked perfectly. It was amazing. And you won't have a problem pairing your favorite item on the menu with their great selection of local craft beers, crafted cocktails, and of course, an amazing bourbon and whiskey selection. I went with the Bullet 10-year with my Pub Burger. All of this in a cozy, fun, come-as-you-are atmosphere. You can check them out at pubfredo.com and on Facebook and Instagram at PubFredo Gastropub.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This week we had Don Tobul of OD Greens join us on the podcast. He got us to drink some tequila. We talked about his business, which is awesome. Just providing great service for veterans. We got into some good dad hacks, an awesome proud dad moment from Don. And overall, it was just a great time. So thank you as always, and enjoy.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
We're rolling. Don, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are, as always, at the Collab by Notion, beautiful downtown Willoughby. Another episode of The Talking Dead. So thanks for coming in, Don. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Before we even start, we start out with a dad profile. So 60-second monologue, who you are, what you do, what makes you a dad.
So I read something recently about being a dad versus being a father.
Okay.
All right, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So
Yes.
being a father is like biologically what happens. You get a girl pregnant, she has a kid. You're
Yeah.
a father.
Right.
You're
Science.
not a dad until you take your kid outside and you have him look at the broken hose and then unleash fury on him.
I think I saw that. Yeah. It's 100% true.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I like that. I think
Yeah.
that's what being
Once
a
you
dad's
start
about.
playing some tricks on your kids, once you start messing with them, yeah, I think that's when you become a dad.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can be a father.
Right. You're not a dad till you come on the show.
That's actually science.
Proven fact.
It's been proven, yeah.
No, that's
Been
cool.
studies.
So, how many kids?
2 kids. One is 3 years old, and that's Evelyn. And Cecilia is 15 months.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
New one. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
new, very new. I mean,
and they couldn't be like more opposite.
yeah.
I mean, we've heard that before, but it's true, man. First one was easy, laid back, sleeps, eats, does everything you want him to on cue. This other one is not.
Dude, we talk about that quite a bit on this show. It's how different they are.
And I always
feels
wonder. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, like, how different they are. Like, the second one, I always feel like is just crazy. But, like, I think to your point that you're about to make, I think it's the way we parent them.
I always wonder that because, like,
I think
everybody says it.
I had
I'm
a feeling
like,
you were going to say
wait
that.
a minute here. Is it really that kids are just coming out different or have a different mentality, or is it you're already freaking tired by the time you have the second one and things that you were very particular about with the first one you just don't follow through with as much? I don't know.
There
It's
could be
probably a
something behind that.
combination.
Like, I think that's a possibility because
But
I think you're just more laid back in general. You're like, all right, we've been here. This is no big deal. Maybe the first one you're a lot sweeter too, and just like
Well, and the
a
fear's
lot more
not there.
attentive to. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and then
terrified with the first one.
all of a sudden you're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to pay too much attention to that one. Maybe, I don't know.
She's opportunistic. I mean, like, she sees that and she takes advantage of it.
That's another.
That's the other part too, is that they're not only the second one's not only learning from mom and dad, or mom or dad, or whatever combination that you got going on. They're learning from older sibling,
Yeah.
which is terrifying. If you really take
absolutely.
a step back and look at who the older sibling, like in my case, like my daughter Sloan, like poor her, she's got to learn everything from Gibbs, and he's just a terrorist. Like my dad literally calls him the terrorist.
It's so funny. We say the same thing about Cecilia.
It's so true, man. I don't know. It's funny to watch how different they are. Like, I have to agree with you.
Yeah, it's insane that everybody has that.
But everybody that comes on here is always like, yeah, my second one,
yeah.
feral. Like
luck
that
with
one's
that
just,
one.
yeah, that one's gonna be trouble. So, I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off,
And I don't know why people go for 3. You know, like, it just answers that question for me.
Dude.
Like,
I'm
I'm good.
It was very apparent after my daughter came out. I was like, nope, no more.
Yeah, good for you guys, because Liz is really pushing me for 3 right now. I have 2 boys, and she wants that girl so bad. I mean, I'd love to have a daughter. I think it would be amazing, but I'm like, I cannot even fathom starting over again
Yeah.
and trying to figure it all out, and I don't know.
So
It's already hard enough getting
like my wife
babysitters.
was really into possibly having another, and I think it was when we started potty training my daughter that it was like, okay, we're like mere weeks away from not buying diapers again
ever.
That's like the last step, right?
It's a great
like,
feeling too,
I'm
right?
done. I haven't bought. I actually the other day I was in Giant Eagle, and I walked by the baby section. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, look how expensive those things are. I don't have to buy any.
They're so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's miserable. All right, I'm sorry. We kind of.
Oh yeah.
No,
Anyway, finish introducing yourself.
What makes
Squirrel.
you a dad? Yeah.
We're not going to be like prying to get conversation.
No, I think we're gonna get
I
through
think we'll
just
be
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Figure that out in the
So
first minute.
what makes me a dad? You know, just being able to have fun with the kids. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's my reprieve from everything else in life is coming home and spending time with them and being with them and hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
That is the best.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be the fun dad. I want to be the
Just want to be
Good mix.
Yeah,
good
yeah,
balance.
yeah. There's a time and place for being fun dad and just.
You turn my mic up a little bit.
I was actually going to turn yours off.
Okay.
You're 3. How's that?
Oh yeah. Now we're
Better?
good.
Okay,
I
now
think
we're
we're
talking.
good.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I think part of when we started this, what we wanted to do was search for dads that weren't, that don't shy away from the responsibility, but then also kind of embrace the, hey, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, our generation is kind of unique in that, you know, we, it became cool to be a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't not only was it not like, the gender roles weren't as defined as they were in maybe previous generations. And it wasn't like a weird thing to see a dad like out with the kids. You know what I mean? And we still get a little bit of that. Sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was at the park the other day, and I was the only dad there. It was in the middle of the day. I had to take a half day to watch the kids because we don't have babysitters too often. I mean, we do, but we're kind of running them dry at this point. So anyway, I had to take a half
It's been
day.
a long couple months.
But yeah, I was definitely the only dad at the 2 parks we went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of. But you know, maybe I was like a stay-at-home dad. I was like hanging out with the women, getting into all the.
But was it weird though?
No, I didn't feel weird.
That's what I
I was
mean,
talking to
like-
them like just like nothing crazy.
yeah.
But you're right though. I mean,
it
you
was
still get those looks a little bit.
even from the get-go, like at the hospital when my wife was like having the first one, like I picked up on little like subtleties from the nurses and the staff there, like, oh, dad's really active and dad is this.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a shock.
It shouldn't be. Yeah.
No, but it still is, and still like when you take your kids shopping alone, they're like, "Oh,
Right.
you got your hands full." Like, well, I'm okay.
I can manage.
I'm fine. I do this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm good actually.
I remember I would take Gibbs with me a lot. When it was, we just had the one. He was months old, and I would take him a lot with me to go to the grocery store or something like that. And yes, it's a pain in the ass. You got to put the carrier in the cart, and I mean now it would be even harder with sanitation and everything else going on.
Yeah.
But like you would always get the, babysitting tonight, huh? I was like, nope, just parenting.
Just being a dad with my kids. What do you want me to do here?
And you would never say that to a mom, right? And like, I'm not one of these people that wants to
I'm going to start.
overemphasize, like, how dare you say that to me? But at the same time, it is kind of like, why? Like, why make that? Would you make that comment to a mom with her kid? You know what I mean? You wouldn't.
No.
And that's, so I enjoy that it's getting more to a place
When you see a
where it's
lot of
normal.
people really embracing the father role. I mean,
Yeah.
Everywhere on social media, all the
Right.
awesome videos that are being put out all the time.
Right.
Yep. You walk into a store carrying your kid upside down.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
I didn't even realize it.
Shit.
Is that not right?
I left one in the car. Shit, not again.
Everyone at the liquor store looks at you weird.
Had it a couple times, but I don't have any other time to shop, damn it.
Do what you got to do. Why do you think I'm in here?
There's liquor stores in Giant Eagle, okay? It's fine.
You're the reason I'm here.
Yeah. Yes. Shit, where's your brother?
Oh, man.
All right, so,
Where were we?
You
Man.
were saying.
So, Don, more about you.
just
See
all
your
over that.
really cool shirt there. Tell us a
yeah.
little bit about what you do, because I think it's pretty amazing, the little that I know, and I'm interested to learn more.
Yeah, so just a quick background. I was in the military in Iraq, 2004, 2005. We shared a little story earlier. So similar grounds. So it was pretty fun. Got out of that, and I became a teacher for a little while. So I taught chemistry and physics in high school for like 5 years.
Oh.
Always had this draw to get back into like the veteran community. And so I pursued my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. That led me to a position at the VA, where I was a vocational rehabilitation counselor for 8 years. That kind of led me down this other path, and that was working with veterans with disabilities to get them training to reintegrate back into civilian workforce. So what my business is now is we use hydroponic farming and those kinds of tasks to basically build the skills necessary to transition back to civilian.
Wow.
Okay, so that's way more than I actually thought.
I'm a lettuce farmer.
I'm really sorry.
My name's Don.
And
I
good
grow
night.
lettuce.
Well, no.
We're done here,
Okay,
right?
so
That'll do, actually. I think we got it, guys.
and that's a
Good
wrap.
night.
Okay, so I thought that you just had this cool business where you took like shipping containers and grew like natural organic produce, and then like I knew that like you hired veterans, disabled veterans specifically, but I didn't know like the clinical side of things.
Yeah, so what my business really is, it's not a produce business at all. It's a natural byproduct of what we do, but our main product is mental health and holistic treatment for veterans with disabilities.
That's super cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
thanks.
Amazing,
and we
man.
get really good food out of it too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Because
Okay.
you don't hear enough for veterans, right? I mean, you always hear of all the negatives and all the things that are going on. Like, they're not getting that support.
Right.
So that's amazing for you. I mean, as a veteran, going out and helping. That's phenomenal.
Well, it's an
That's
interesting
an
way to
amazing
do it
thing,
too, because
I mean, like when he told me about it, like we were interviewing, I'm
I
like,
said
so-
lettuce farm.
yeah, he grows, dude,
he grows lettuce.
He grows lettuce, dude, and for veterans. Is what? No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say
No,
that.
I literally.
But no, that
I mean,
wasn't
my
it.
whole mindset for this show is completely flipped upside down because I didn't realize that was really your main focus. I thought
Yeah.
that you were like some botanist or something like that had this cool business that you were doing something cool like local organic stuff, and then hey, maybe I can help out vets on the side,
Right.
and it's really the other
It's
way
opposite.
around.
Yeah,
Right.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
And I got to constantly remind myself of that too. I mean, with COVID, local produce and local food really took off.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
kind of across the board. I mean, eggs, farm raised eggs, you can't even find them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, true.
So like that part of my business did really well. And I had that conversation with myself. Okay, well, do I start to expand the farm? But like in my original business plan, I always said, I'm going to let the counseling piece let the expansion of the
Dictate
farm.
where.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super cool. Obviously, being a vet myself, and we talked a little bit about being in the same places, which is really cool. Now, answer me this: so you worked at the VA for a little while, and a lot of what I hear in the veteran community is like how messed up the VA is. And I've never had that experience. The couple times that I've gone for whatever, I was always treated very well.
Yeah.
They did their proper, like, checked up a lot on me.
You get 3 text messages and email and like 5 letters. Yeah.
But still, there's this constant,
okay.
like,
It's nice to follow up, though.
right. But still, there's this constant like narrative that the VA is just horribly funded and or staffed, and it's hard for vets to get the care that they need. Now, mind you, most of what I hear is not from veterans. It's from either like a lobbyist or some kind of group that is trying to change something.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, like how,
I think we can always do better.
Sure.
And so that's kind of the place that we start. What can we improve upon? And the VA is a huge entity. I mean, it's broken into 3 different divisions, which a lot of people aren't aware of. So you got the health side, the hospital side, the benefits side, and then you also have the cemeteries. So there's like really 3 legs. So the VA as a whole is huge, and it's run by people who are, not perfect. So it depends upon the person that goes to get the care and then the person that's providing the care and each individual's perspective. So, I mean, I've heard both too. I've had both personally. I've had really great care. I've had really poor care. I've had the lights turned out on me in the waiting room. Like that's not cool, but I mean, that's minimal compared to some of the things that some guys go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm so much more interested than I thought. I mean, not that I wasn't interested before, but
I was
like
interested
I'm
the whole
super
time,
like,
man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Hey,
it's super
I'm
cool.
here.
Like, so walk me through like when, like number one, is there like an outreach program? How do you become part of OD Greens?
Right.
And like, is there a life cycle to it or?
So yeah, I've been growing lettuce. We'll go to that first because that's like phase 1, right? Sorry. Let me break it down. I know marine. All right, I'm gonna talk.
Where's my crayons? I'm hungry.
All right. Phase 1 was the growing and the produce part of it. So I was doing that since December of 2018, and I didn't design the farms. I didn't make the farms. I bought that product, and it was always in the back of my mind that this is going to be the platform that I use to launch the mental health piece. So I've been doing that since December of 2018. Where that kind of went was it gave me a platform to say, okay, to the banks, I can obtain a loan and I can do this financially. And it also gave me time while I was still working in my job at the VA to not create conflicts of interest while I was doing basically the job that I'm going to sell back to the VA, right?
Right.
So I had to kind of tread lightly. I had this whole transparency thing with HR and legal and ethics and all that. And they basically said, as long as you're not obtaining clientele during your employment with the VA, you're good to go. So cool. So I'll be a lettuce farmer until March of 2020. Quit my job March 13th, 2020. It was Friday the 13th, March 16th. Everything shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Talk about timing.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Yeah, so like timing's never really been my thing. But I think if it was easy and if it would just go as planned, like I wouldn't get as much fulfillment out of it, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
So like I had to pivot. So what I did is then I took what I was going to be doing in person with these veterans. I created an online training platform so I can like Zoom in, Skype in. I've got like a whole electronic medical records program that I can use to reach these guys in Ohio, Massachusetts, California, wherever. And I've had calls with people all over the country. So what I'm trying to do now is say, hey, VA, I've got this program. I can provide the same service, if not a better service, back to you before COVID, all of this happened. Because we were only reaching the guys that could get into the office, not the guys who were so severely disabled that they can't even get to the office. Yeah. Or maybe they don't have a driver's license for whatever circumstances or whatever situation they were thrown into. So they can't physically get here. I can reach those guys now. So that's me pivoting and trying to take a more direct approach to the VA to say, hey, I can take what you guys were doing and I can do it better now.
Huh.
Wow.
And they're cool with that.
No.
Well, I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute.
It's a work in
It's
progress.
still-
Yeah.
right.
So I wrote a white paper to DC like 3 weeks ago, and so it's kind of working its way through the channels. And if anybody out there is listening that knows how to get me, into the system as a vendor, hit me up.
That's awesome. So also didn't realize that this was still transforming into what your vision was. Again, I knew very little when we started.
Yeah.
I just knew
Not the research guy.
Right. That's not me. We're still looking for one of those.
Need some interns.
No.
There goes my chair.
Oh, see?
Yeah, I told you it was going to happen.
It does happen.
Get back up here.
So the should be.
You might actually have to stand up to.
There you go.
There you go.
No, you can't have any weight.
Army guys, wait a minute.
No, here we go. These jokes are going to go back and forth between you two all night. I love it.
No, that's really cool. So I don't even know how to
The Marine comes out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just that easy.
You brought it out. You did it to him.
Okay, so vision is that you are. I guess my question is, when you are doing the farming part of it, you have disabled veterans working there.
Yeah. So what my business really does is it takes individuals who may not be like super squared away or have had like a really hard hand dealt to them, and it assesses like 5 essential skills really. Like, so whether you're a Walmart greeter or a neurosurgeon, you have to be able to show up on time, do what you're told, when you're told, play nice with others. That last one can tend to be an issue.
Yeah, sure.
So it's creating an environment that's veteran-centric, veteran-run, veteran-occupied, so that we all kind of have this like level playing ground, and we can have no BS conversations with one another, shoot the shit back and forth, and build that camaraderie that is like the number one thing that comes up when, what do you miss out of the military? It's the other guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can recreate that, then we can work backwards and then fill in all of those additional skills that you have, but they just need to be sharpened in a little bit different way. So you can't go up to somebody. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you can, man.
balls.
All right, cool. You can't say go unfuck yourself.
Right,
In the office
right,
situation.
right.
Like, but that's understood in the military. Got it. I'm going fuck myself right now.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just kind of like putting a spin to that, like translating those languages and those words and those actions into civilian.
I mean, that's awesome. I remember when I transitioned out, my big plan was I was going to move to Vegas and be a security guy, work security at a casino. I thought, hey, I got the skill set. Yeah. This is going to be great. I'm going to live in Vegas. I was 22 at the time, 21 at the time when I first got out. And I would go on job interviews, and I was so shocked at how unprepared I was to be in a normal situation. And I'm here to tell you, like, I was one of the lucky ones. Like, I went through my time unscathed and really didn't see enough that really messed me up, or, there's some other things that I think that helped me deal with the things that we did go through, But even so, I was shocked at how unprepared I was to be in a situation,
Right.
That just unfuck yourself type of thing. Like, I got to watch how I speak and how I talk and how I carry myself. It's just a little bit different. In the military, you can walk around like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and no one sees that. Everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
You do that in, a regular office, and all of a sudden you're that cocky asshole that, I mean, that's just a very basic thing that I had to figure out how not to do anymore.
And then you're just somebody who, like you said, you were very lucky with what you went through. So,
right.
And that's not always the case. So, like,
No.
for something like this, like you said, we've talked to a guest before via Zoom about what they have in place now, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot better.
We were talking to Jeff.
Yeah.
Just how to transition out,
the transition, which they really prepare them for, which is, I think, is absolutely necessary. Right. Now, I can't really say much because I wasn't in the military, but I think that's phenomenal because, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that have that tough time transitioning back into society.
Right.
we had a guy that I know, or we know, had a lot of issues, and
Chris,
and he went through a lot of shit. He saw a lot, and had some injuries. What
did he say? He was on like 38 pills a day at one point.
I remember going to his house and seeing his countertop, and it was just pill bottles.
Right.
Just something for everything, for his brain,
I saw it at the hospital. They walk out with a grocery bag full. It's a literal grocery bag.
I remember seeing it for the first time, and I'm like, holy shit, man. He's like, yeah, and then these pills at the end here are for how upset my stomach is from all the pills that I'm taking, and these are supposed to help my stomach out.
Treating
It's
the
like,
side
God,
effects.
man.
It's crazy. Well, what was cool about him too is that like how he started to heal and started to become be able to be in normal society was he started doing outreach stuff for veterans.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's very
he
involved
works now exclusively with Sub-Zero Mission, where they go out and they provide shelter and clothing for people on the streets, and they really focus on veterans.
Right.
And so I thought that was really cool that the way to help yourself is to help others.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I thought that was...
And that's what's ingrained in us, from
right,
day
sure.
one. You are not an individual. You are here as a team, and you are here because of the guy next to you and the guy next to him, and so on and so forth. So, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when we hit the ground in the civilian world, and it's okay, how do I brag about myself on a resume? How do I talk about myself in an interview?
Yeah. They just don't translate.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And that's tough. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and it's not that it's insurmountable, but if you don't have a good support system around you, and you don't have like there's services out there, and but a lot of times, and again, you're usually dealing with guys who, whether they were before or not doesn't really matter. They're that alpha mentality where it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to, for sure. I can ask for help from my buddy who I know has gone through the same training that I has. That's easy because that bond is.
You don't want to go to somebody
built.
who doesn't know anything about it, and they're going to try to tell you what you should be doing, and it's like, okay, you don't know shit.
But
you weren't there.
going to a doctor or a psychiatrist or something like that. I remember. So in my transition between worlds, I ended up working at the security at the power plant.
okay.
And there was a why I tried to go through there.
Is this the one you said I should try?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a point where there was like, hey, if you declare or if you get any benefits based on PTSD,
Did it again. Yeah, I keep on bumping it.
Two. Yeah. Don't worry, our guest last week
What's
had.
the over under?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go with 4 with him.
Yeah.
So
we're only like 20 minutes in.
yeah, but Biff had 5. I think.
5 is I think the record.
All right.
You're on your way.
Yeah.
It's early.
I'll break.
But no, there was like this thing where if you claim benefits based on any amount of PTSD, that you had to go through an extra psych eval in order to maintain your position.
Okay.
And everyone started freaking out. I mean, most of those guys are all military, and a lot of guys claim benefits as well. They should if they need it, and like there was this stigma around that, like, oh well, if this person, I'm going to lose my job because they're afraid of me walking around this plant with a gun.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reality is that's who you want.
Yeah. Those are the guys you want right there.
A little bit of
I
training.
know it sounds right.
Absolutely.
A little bit of
A little
training.
bit.
I know what I'm doing. Because at least in my experience, and you're always going to have those crazy situations. I don't know. Just to me, it was so crazy to even think that to like ask all of us to, and that's not why I left by any means, but there was a lot of guys that did leave. They're like, I'm leaving. I'm not dealing with this. I don't want to have to fear for my job based on, Sally in HR that's going to ask me a couple questions, has no authority or no clinical background to judge whether or not,
And I've seen the other side of that too, where guys are freshly getting out. They're still kind of undecided about what it is that they want to do in life. And law enforcement obviously is one of those natural tracks. And we all know this individual's got PTSD. And their symptoms are there and we see them. And they are not going to go get help because of just those reasons. They don't want to burn a bridge of a potential, career.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean,
a way to make a living. I mean, a lot of us, I mean, you go into the military and you think, okay, like myself, for example, I remember I took the ASVAB test and I scored high enough that I could pick any job. And that's not bragging. Like, yeah, right. That's not bragging. You don't have to do too well. You know what I mean? Like, but no, I mean, it is a test, and as long as you can take the test well, like you can score enough, and you get to pick your jobs, right? And so they have this list of what do you want to do, and I was like, okay, let's pick something that is going to translate to the outside world, so that way I have options. Right. And so I picked nuclear, biological, chemical warfare. I was like, oh, that sounds like I'll learn some shit, and could be kind of cool. I mean, at the time, we have WMDs in Iraq. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be a really important piece to this. And very shortly after, I was not. And but even with that, like, it doesn't translate to anything. I got a couple extra college credits, so it pushed me closer to a degree, I guess. But at the end of the day, you get out, and other than leadership skills, which I think is probably what helped me the most out of anything, there's no real like office skills. There's nothing that really translates to getting a quote unquote normal job.
Yeah. And even those leadership skills, in fairness, not to minimize, but I will, working at Voc Rehab at the VBA, like a lot of guys list like the leadership skills and all that. And the come to Jesus speech that we have with them is like, look, we've got other people who have worked in this field before.
Right.
Yeah.
They've got leadership skills too and experience.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right, because those aren't necessarily, I mean, you can go to a couple seminars and on paper have just as much, if not more. It's all about like, how can you figure out how to translate that?
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
and even if you start at like the very bottom, right? So when you go to a job interview, a lot of these guys they've never owned a suit.
Yeah.
Right. So like to have a suit to go to your interview, they're probably not. They're doing their nice set of jeans and they're doing their button up and maybe a tie if they got one. So like projects like Suiting Warriors is another one that if you're in need, they'll provide you with a suit and they'll actually tailor it and like they'll do good stuff like that.
Right.
So like Sub-Zero you were talking about, just a lot of different missions out there.
Yeah, it's really cool. And what's cool is that most of these outfits are run by veterans who understand what their, it starts with a community need, right?
Yep.
And like
and it makes it a lot easier for them to go to someone like that. So it's like, okay, they know what I've been through. They know what they could relate. So
Well,
and
you
trust
said
it a little bit more.
And you said it before too, like it's hard for us to say, "Oh, I need help."
Yeah, for sure.
But when you're in a room full of other veterans, it's like, "Hey, man, don't you want to get better? Don't you want to like, let's push this. Let's go work out. Let's go run." Like, it's a friendly competition and a camaraderie thing rather than, "Hey, you need help." And it's a weird conversation.
The other thing is that no one wants to hear that. Like, no one ever wants to. And they're not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go get help then because you told me, hey, you need help. Like, I mean, that's something no one ever wants to hear. First of all, but if you might really need it, but it's
and I would think that the goal is to reach guys before they hit the point where they break down and ask for help. Yeah. Right.
Yes, for sure.
Because then it's
because I mean, for a lot of people, it's tough though. I mean, you don't reach that point until it's like rock bottom, right?
Sure.
I mean, then you're like, okay, well, this is it now. I really need to do something. Yeah. And like you said, like hopefully that's not too late necessarily, but.
Well, and I was kind of like you said, I was squared away. Like I didn't have a whole lot of issues, but it took me from when I got back from overseas in 2005 to do anything within the veteran community outside of like my job and working for the VA. It took me until 2017 to do, to reintegrate with other people in the same spot as me. Yeah. And like, I started to think about that too. Like, well, what took me so long? Like, I didn't feel like I measured up maybe. Like, and once I got into those communities, I realized that we're all kind of there together at different stages, but still there together. And we want to help others get better, in a proactive way rather than a reactive way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the key there. Again, trying to reach before it's too late or before it's three.
It's because
we need a counter.
It's my feet, man.
Yeah,
we're tall dudes, so
I don't know if we have any buttons for that. Yeah. We need it though because it's happening a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my foot in front there.
There you go. Well, I think that's amazing, and we'll definitely get into some more of that. But the other thing that we like to do is make sure that we translate what you do professionally into how that has shaped how you are as a dad. We do focus mostly on parenting. So, I mean, I would imagine that being a teacher and then getting a
master's degree in clinical
there you go,
health.
that one.
There you go.
Again, jarhead can't
Can't retain that
big
information.
words are hard for me.
We just like you to repeat that for us, so we're good to go.
So I would imagine that certainly has an impact on how you parented or how you approach parenting for your girls.
My kids are a petri dish. It's so funny because like my wife's a teacher. She teaches language arts and history, right?
Okay.
And I'm like kind of on the opposite side where I was sciences. So we're hitting our kids at all angles with like different learning tactics and mnemonic devices and like, you know, geeky shit.
Yeah.
And then like with the military, you get the structure. So like repetitive, and just like rote retention type stuff. So, and then I spin in some of the psychological stuff that I do just to kind of like see what happens as an experiment. And so kids are hilarious, man. Like they are absolutely hilarious. We literally call my second born the terrorist too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we could all relate to that.
Yeah. So
My dad was in the Marine Corps too, and so like when he came, you know, he was my dad's first grandchild, and my dad was I don't want to say prototypical, but like Marine Corps guy. Then he was a police officer and worked a shitload of doubles and stuff like that. Like my mom was definitely the lead parent, right?
Okay.
And I don't say that negatively at all. Like my dad was
Just working hard and
made every baseball game that he could, and I was very fortunate that he was always around. But he was always very clear with me. He's like, you got to ask your mom on this one. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. You know, he brags, or not brags, but like he would always say like, dude, I didn't change a diaper till you were like two years old. You know what I mean? Like you know.
he has always brought that up. Yeah.
Marine all over.
I don't remember where I was going with that, but
Well, you're saying that he calls how your dad called him a terrorist.
And like he was like, well, what do you mean? I got like, so I would like give Gibson to my dad, and I was like, all right, hang out with him. You know, he's like, what do I do? He's like, he's a little terrorist. What do you want me to do? So it kind of stuck a little bit.
It did, because I know Chelsea was calling him that too. So.
Yeah.
It is funny, like you said about the generational thing. Like my dad and my father-in-law, both Army guys, Vietnam era. And same kind of thing. I mean, they love the kids to death.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's limits to what they are willing to take on and what they won't touch with a 10-foot stick. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Because it was like a different time, right? And then it's just, I mean, they were doing different things, and it was like mom's got it taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it was. It's old school.
It's old school. I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it. But it's funny to see it because I'd be like, all right, well, he's like, yeah, I think he's shit. Like, okay, diapers are over there, and he's like, no, I don't do that.
You know, now I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't know if my dad, I don't know if he's ever changed any of the kids' diapers before.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I now I'm thinking about it. I know, like usually,
I don't think your dad would shy away from it, but that doesn't mean he's gonna.
I just never seen him do it
either.
No. Well, it's funny. Like I was at my mom's house last week, and I'm like, I knew Ben's shit, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go do something else, because I'm like just waiting for my mom to take care of it.
Sure, absolutely.
Because she was babysitting that day, and I show up. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna eat dinner. Just kind of kept pushing it off. She's like, his diaper looks full. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. He's fine. Don't worry about it. She goes, I think he pooped. I'm like, yeah. I'm going to go check this thing over here real quick. So my mom's like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, yes.
So we have a thing at home now, and it's fantastic. This works out so well. Anytime Cecilia, anytime she shits, rock, paper, scissors, poop. That's it. Best 2 or 3.
That's a really good way to go.
I mean.
Okay, time out.
Dad hack. That's amazing.
Dad hack for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no argument.
I'm going to start pushing that out on all of our guests now. Like,
Yeah, the rules are set.
Yeah.
You know, you win or lose.
Yeah.
There's only 2 options.
2 or 3. It's always 2 or 3.
Oh, always 2 or 3?
Okay.
I'll sometimes throw in the double or nothing and just one hand next 2 poops.
Ooh.
Wow.
But
It's risky.
It is risky.
That is a risky move, but man,
It's a bold
could
move,
pay off
Cotton.
too. See how it plays out for him.
So
That's pretty awesome.
our older daughter gets all excited now because we make a big deal out of it. She's like, rock,
yeah.
paper, scissors, poop. She's like, she shit.
That's fun, and you make fun. You have fun with it. That's pretty awesome. Okay, I like that.
I wish I would have known that.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
hey,
should.
right here today. I don't have a
Absolutely.
button.
We could.
I need like a ching sound or something.
No, that's awesome. That's a
It
really
works
good.
out. I mean, because it's always like, okay, we're cleaning up from dinner. Mom's got clean the dishes off. Kid craps, whatever. Or you spill it up the other way, and then somebody's always stuck doing it, and you never want to do it. You never want.
No, you
no
don't
one
want
wants
to. I
do it.
hate
Yeah.
cleaning up shit. It's the worst.
But it has to be done.
It's got to be done. Yeah.
It has to be. Well, the second born, it's like, whatever. Just let him,
yeah.
Just let him go around, or let her walk around for a little while. She'll be
You
all
get
right.
your monies out of the second kid's diapers.
I always say with Ben's diaper, if it's like full pee, I'm like, if it's not touching the ground, we're solid. Somebody be like, his diaper looks really full. I'm like,
He's gonna have a really strong back.
oh, dude, he's good to go, man.
So they're weighted by rate, right? Or like rated by weight?
Yeah.
So like 12 to 14 pounds, like
Right.
it should hold 12.
Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See,
I think that's what that means.
it sounds right. You guys are good. Don't
Like
worry.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah. Can you even imagine?
Dude.
I've seen some
Yeah.
shit. I've seen some stuff before. Hey, by the way, this is actually pretty good. And
Like
let me say, I haven't drank tequila
I told
in a
you,
very
man.
long time. You know me and tequila. It's
Yeah.
never been my friend.
Same.
But
Drink better stuff.
No, I mean,
Touche, you're right.
we had
You
this
are-
conversation
you are right
before
about
we
that, right
started,
before we
though.
started. This was always like
something
shots.
that's- Yeah, right.
oh,
El
whatever.
El Toro gave tequila a bad rap. And so like you go to like the bar and like Patron. Everybody drinks Patron.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Patron's garbage.
Where
I
were
told
we?
my
It's funny though because Patron was it. Like when we were younger, like in our 20s, it was that
Because
the
it was
shit,
expensive,
dude.
and
It
all
was.
the cool people, all the famous
We're like,
people were drinking
Hey,
it.
let me get some Patron. Like you want to impress a girl at the
Yeah,
bar. You're
yeah.
like, let me get a couple shots.
You
What
want it chilled?
Yes.
Right.
All right,
Yeah, 'cause
make
it
it
sucks.
chilled. Yeah, Patron.
Where were we? We were somewhere like at a bachelor party or something like that, and we saw somebody from like home.
Okay. Oh, that was out in Canada.
Oh yeah, we were at your brother's bachelor
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
So this was, I don't know, 10 years ago, sorry, 9 years ago,
12.
12, Jesus. And we were sitting at a bar in Toronto. No, not Toronto. Niagara.
Niagara. Yeah. We
Who did we see? I can't remember.
Kilmeyer. So this was the guy we went to high school with, and Ian and I got separated from the group, and we were just lost. We're in this club, and all of a sudden, we see this guy. And I'm like, dude, that guy looks like Kilmeyer. Like jokingly, I'm like, that is Kilmeyer. So we run into him. Like we run into a friend from high school in Canada.
Yeah.
So we got shots with him. But
And like he comes over and he's like 3 shots of Patron.
like, yeah, bro, baller. Wow, Patron, really? Wow, this guy is crazy. I know.
Oh, it does not smell good though.
You drink scotch?
No, I don't really like scotch either. So,
It's pretty good though. Surprisingly, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it because he
well,
said.
now it smells a little bit better though.
And let it breathe a little bit.
Get it in there a little bit. Well, actually, in my bachelor party, we were in New Orleans and we ran into Sam Randazzo out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it was
he was
another
at our
guy-
hotel.
Yeah, he was staying at the hotel we were staying at. He was there with his girlfriend, and they were going to a concert. And we happened to run into a guy from Menor
Yeah.
that we knew in New Orleans. Like,
Did we drink tequila then too?
no, we didn't.
Oh,
I don't know what we drank that day. The majority of that trip is a blur.
Yeah,
I mean, we were just from
New Orleans.
the moment we woke up, we were just in the,
grenades.
oh man, pool, just drinking all day.
Yeah, it's
Just
good times.
so fun.
Nobody's
So-
ever had too much fun in New Orleans.
That's true.
It's amazing.
But no, so you brought some tequila, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
So my wife got me this bottle, and I'm usually an añejo drinker. This
Okay.
is a reposado, but it's double cask, so it's actually finished in a Lagavulin cask. I don't know if it's 6 months or what the timing is on
Yeah.
it, but it's really good. I mean, the scotch really comes out. So if you're
Yeah.
a scotch drinker, which
That's
one of my
really good.
friends really is, and
Yeah.
I got him kind of on the tequila mezcal thing. Yeah, it's a good drink.
I mean, Don's pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had it in years. I tend to stay away from tequila.
Chelsea's uncle got me on some kind of añejo, but it was almost sweet.
Yeah, this one's sweet.
Is it sweet?
Suavecito's sweet.
Like it's not rum sweet, but it almost reminds me of like a good dark rum where you can just kind of sip it.
I
think you're right though. Like just drink better stuff. And
I think you're right.
Okay,
you're right.
Good.
The smell still kind of gets me a little bit.
Yeah,
but just because of
my
past. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know.
Jaeger, I cannot drink Jaeger.
No, I cannot do it. So I worked a job in my early 20s, and the cleaning stuff that we used was
Simple Green.
Simple Green. And we used it for everything. And I'm like, this smells like Jaeger. So every time I would even smell Jaeger, I just want to puke. I'm like, it's disgusting. I can't stand Jaeger. People are like, oh, dude, I love Jaeger. I'm like, you're just
funny. I can't stand Simple Green.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Paste wax. Yeah. No, my dad, so my parents, like growing up, well, we had a couple different dogs, but the one his name was Jaeger.
Yeah.
And when he passed in 2008, 2007, 2000, it might have been before that. I
thought it was
No,
longer.
I think that was about
later.
right. Probably about 2008.
Yeah, I mean 2003. Well, this is a stupid argument, but
yeah, it is a stupid. No, so it was probably 2011. You're right, because he was.
I know I'm right.
8
I
years
know
old.
that I'm right. So I didn't want to tell you.
But like for a while, my dad was like, "All right, we're doing shots for Jaeger," and he would just bust out a bunch of Jaeger. I'm like, "All right, let's do it." You know,
there was a time when we all liked Jaeger.
Yeah,
there was a time.
I know when I stopped liking Jaeger. When I came home from overseas. We know the owners of Caps in Leroy. Yeah. So that was the spot that I went to when first got home. Whole bunch of friends there, just having a great time. At the time, the Jaeger machine was a thing.
Yeah, I remember that thing. Yeah.
I remember wanting one of those.
So I said to the owner, I said, "Hey Tim, has anyone ever done a Jaeger stand?" Oh. He's like, "No, you want to try?" I'm like, "Yep."
I'll be the first one to do it. Yeah.
So I did. Copyright. The ride home to my parents' house is like 1.5 miles. Spray painted my dad's truck all down the side the entire way home. That was the last Jaeger.
That'll do it. Yeah. That'll do it right there.
That was 2005. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
Clearly.
I can't remember my my Patron hatred. I think it was just in our 20s of just taking shots of it all the time and like just getting sick, just drinking way too much, just being stupid.
Yeah.
Well, things like shooting tequila seems to be now drinking tequila is different, but if you're shooting tequila, it's typically you've already been drinking for a few hours, and like then it sounds like a really good idea.
Because you always start the night with beer. You're just sitting there chugging beer all night, and it's like, let's move to shots. Yeah. Shots, bro, line them up, let's go. I mean, that just sounds terrible. I mean, there's only one guy that I know that's still able to do that. Markel, yeah. One of our buddies, man.
He's amazing. He's a freak of nature.
It doesn't even make sense. So you ever see that meme and it's like, it says like, okay, I'm gonna have a few tonight. You all have that friend. Like I'm gonna have a few tonight. Then you bump into your friend, and all of a sudden it's like you show up and you're like
Frank the Tank.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, 100%, and that's it. Yeah. I remember going out with him. One of the last times I went out with him, I was like, I'm gonna go have a beer with Paul. Famous last words. Yeah.
Translate that.
I think like 12:30 rolls around. I'm like calling my wife. I'm like, hey, this is before kids too. I'm like, hey, can you come pick me up? She's like, no, I'm in bed. Just figure it. Stay over his house. I'm like, oh shit.
That means you got another 3 hours of drinking.
Oh yeah, and it was too. I mean, it was a rough night and a rough 3 days afterwards.
Fun though.
It was a blast.
You always have a good time with Paul.
I've never had a bad time with him. The guy's
it's impossible.
And I don't know if it's age or being a dad now, but to recover from a hangover now is a week. It's a week.
Dude, you can't get rid of it.
No.
You have no choice. You just have to start work like as soon as you wake up.
Actually, speaking of Paul, what I was about to say is the other thing about being a dad is it's not worth it to be hungover.
No.
So when you do go out, like, all right, I know what I got to do in the morning, so I'm going
to cut it off here.
I'm going to cut it off. So the first time that I went out after my son was born, he was probably 2 months old, maybe 3 months.
He was older. So was Liz's birthday.
Oh, it was?
At your house, yeah.
Oh, so he was like 6 months old. Okay. And
I got the time down.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, dumb jarhead. So we all went from my house and we all went out and it was a really good time. And we Ubered back to my house. For some reason, everyone Ubered back to my house.
Yeah, and you just died.
Chelsea, my wife, was just at the door with screaming 6-month-old, and I'm freaking toasted. I'm like, oh, I got this, whatever.
Yeah, give
Well, it turns out Paul is the one that is amazingly
it's
sober.
because he's the one that drank just as much as everybody else did, but he was fine.
He was leveled out, and he took care of my kid. I
went home that night, and because my son was just born, he was
he was like
a month old. Yeah, and I'm like, I gotta go home.
What did we go out for?
Because we always go out.
Yeah,
like that's what we would do. Like, I mean, come on, let's talk about your kids' birthdays for a minute. I mean, I don't want to get into that. Yeah. But I went home and I was getting text messages from Paul and Raj, of Paul holding, Ian passed out on the couch, and our buddy Paul holding Gibson, who's a 6-month-old.
Literally 6 months old. They're still ripping shots while taking care of my kid.
Ian's,
I'm like,
Ian's on the couch, just like,
Dad of the Year.
We've all been there.
I like that shirt. The world's okayest dad.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal shirt.
That's about where I'm at.
Yeah. Hey, if you're there, we'll take
Goals
it.
are good.
Yeah. Aim low.
Oh man. So 3-year-old and
15-month-old.
close to 1.5. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. So he's right where we were at 2 years
when we
ago?
started this thing, maybe 2 years ago.
Right when we started this thing.
Yeah. So because when we had the idea.
Oh yeah.
So that must be something about that. Like when you have kids that age, you're like, I got to do something to get me out of the house. No.
I mean, literally.
So with us, it was our wives went out one night and they're like, we're going out. We're like, okay, we didn't really ask any questions. They probably told us 100 times what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're like, yeah, sure, cool, have fun, go out.
Right.
So I took my 2 kids over to Ian's house. We did that quite a bit. And
so we had 4 kids.
We had 4 kids. Well, not only that though, because there was
time.
more. No, it was just those 2. So it was just 4.
Yeah.
So we have the 2 kids, and we're hanging out talking about what we're doing in the moment, just kind of making just funny shit. And we're like, man, we should be recording what we're talking about. This is all phenomenal. And that was, well, then also, so our wives came home and they were at a show called Cat and Nat. You ever heard of these women? No. So they have a
2
show.
Canadian chicks.
Yeah,
Should I have heard of them?
No,
because before they went there, I've never heard of them.
Yeah,
all right. It's for moms. We
but
don't do that.
It's literally 2 moms
that
drink wine and talk about being moms.
Yeah, but they also had male strippers and stuff.
Right.
Too.
Well, yeah, they were at the point where they're big. They went to Playhouse.
They're big. They have they go on tour.
They were so our wives were at Playhouse Square where these chicks were just up on stage just talking about being moms.
Yeah.
And I think
let's put this in perspective real quick. Time out. These 2 moms that are I didn't mean for the air quotes. Moms that are on tour, touring the country.
Yeah.
Dads
Man in the
are
show.
amazing in those households.
Oh,
those dads
Those
are
guys
amazing
are
because those guys are just they're like, okay, honey, I'm going on tour. Have fun with the kids.
Yeah. Well, they're also
they're also
wealthy.
raking in the money.
They're
It's like, hey, honey, do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
So true there. Yeah, very true.
But yeah, so they came home and we're like, holy shit. So we started looking up some of their stuff and we're like, this is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
We can do shit
who's
like
the
this.
dad version? We're like, we should see if we can go to a show of these dudes doing this, and there just wasn't one.
So, bottom line is, when we do make it that big, we're gonna have
when we're on tour,
tons of strippers on stage with us.
I don't think we could get away with that. They can get away with that.
No.
I think if we were to have a show
Like,
where
we were
strippers,
they're all just drinking wine, and there's just strippers on stage. We're like, yeah, cool, whatever.
With their ticket, didn't you get a bottle of wine?
Yeah, you get to drink. And then
straight
there's just
out of the
strippers.
bottle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so we just hand out
Everybody
bottles of bourbon and just have strippers everywhere. Yeah, that's gonna go far.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't gonna work. You guys are pigs.
Yeah, so to the double standard again.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, if you guys did that, you would catch hell.
Yeah,
absolutely. It would just be frowned upon.
Who was it? Was it Ellen DeGeneres or somebody that grabbed some guy's chest?
Oh,
stage?
yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but I'm making that up.
No. There was something though where the girl, it wasn't Ellen, it was, I can't remember, but there was somebody who was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, and it was nothing.
Yeah, no one cared. Actually, it was celebrated as look how much fun these people are.
Yeah, look at this. She probably could have grabbed his dick.
Yeah,
and it would have been fine.
Right.
If you grazed a woman, nope.
Right.
Worst person in the world. What a pervert. But that's what we have to deal with, and that's hey, you know what? I'm okay with it because
we are not victims.
Yeah, right. I don't want to. Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim.
I don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, make it sound like we're playing the victim.
No, we're not. We're not. Not at all. That's not what I'm doing here at all, and that's not what we're doing.
I've seen some of these girls on social media, and some of the shit that gets posted to their. I'm just like, come on, guys, clean it up.
I just can't believe what people what people say on social media. It's like, how the fuck are you gonna say that? Like, and not only that, like, just in general, everything, people's opinions on things. I'm like, I have a lot of opinions, but I'm just gonna keep it to myself. I don't have to go out there and start fighting people on social media. I mean, it is entertaining to watch people, though. Sure. You want to talk about the best thing about any type of comment or like anybody's post or video is the comments.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
comment section.
Comment section's the best.
I could go through comments for days.
Absolutely.
Like when I get sucked into whatever kind of trending video or something like that, it's not. I can care less about the actual content. It's
that's cool.
It's the comments, man.
Give me to those comments,
dude. When DeWine tested negative after testing positive. The comment section was amazing.
Yeah.
People were so butthurt. I was just like, dude.
I mean, it's going crazy.
It is what it is, man.
That's what it is. Just deal with it. Go move on.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of all this stuff that's going on in the world, if we're going to get into this.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys see what happened in Beirut?
Yeah.
No,
insane.
I didn't.
You didn't?
An explosion?
No.
Oh, my God.
When did this happen?
Like Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday.
What do they have? They're storing like ammonium,
it was like a
nitrate
chemical
or something
plant.
like
Yeah.
that. Like, and they're storing it there.
Bro, it took a coastline off. There was this huge mushroom cloud.
Dude, it looked like a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll show you the video when we're done. Like I have, because I sent it to all you guys.
Yeah.
Like that one view of it, like where it looks like a mushroom cloud. Wow. It's the most unbelievable thing ever.
So they did a comparison of the blast radius, and they put it over top of Chicago, and it was like into Indiana where like windows would have been blown out.
Yeah, they said it was like 100. Was it 150? I forgot the hell they said. It was far. Whatever it was.
It was a lot of miles. Yeah,
and it was
crazy.
It was insane.
Like did you see the before and after picture
Yeah.
of Beirut, like
the
downtown
whole thing,
Beirut,
where that building blew up? It's just gone. Like that
it's
whole
just into the water.
It's in the water.
It's like a peninsula type of.
Yeah, so I mean that's like their harbor over there.
Yeah,
so they're storing nitrate, ammonium nitrate there or something like that, and it's been a problem. Like that it was there. But the reason I recently
was it an accident or?
No, well that's what they said. They didn't know what happened. They said it was an accident, but like I mean there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I have that Alexa show or whatever the heck it's called. It's like the screen Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
And it brings up news every now and then.
Okay.
And today it said like 16 people arrested in
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm guessing it was an act of terror probably.
Wow.
Because I'm sure if they know that stuff's there, I'm sure they're probably taking measures to make sure that there's nothing
Right.
that could go wrong. Like, I mean, nothing flammable in that building. Like, I don't know. That was because it was a fire. Originally, the video, I saw it like right away. It was on, the guy I work with pulled it up.
Just don't know though, because like a lot of times we take for granted, we can all bitch about the government and regulations and things like that all the time, but you just don't know how good we have it where there's boards or that govern how we do things.
Absolutely. There's regulations on everything. Like if there was some place they were storing something like that, I'm sure they would take it the hell out of there.
Was it Fukushima?
Yeah. What
was it called?
Japan.
Yeah, in Japan when the nuclear plant like melted down. Like,
no, something. I can't remember the name of the place.
Yeah,
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember I was working at the plant at that time, and they were like, "Listen, that cannot happen here."
Yeah.
Like the things that actually went wrong are some of the first things like at the top of the list that we are regulated on.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think that like, other places.
A lot of things are lax in other places. So they don't really
man,
pay attention to it. It's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, now it's in a highly populated, it's in Beirut.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and you watch these videos. These people were pretty close. They were taking the videos.
Sure.
And I think there was 150 deaths so far. Like over 5,000 people
I can't
injured.
believe there was only that many.
I'm betting when that place probably caught fire, I bet you they probably started getting people the hell out of there.
Right. And the explosion actually happened later, right?
Yeah. I mean, the explosion was
insane, though.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
We'll show you some videos, man. It was ridiculous.
I have no knowledge of it. I'm
because-
basically unplugged. I mean, I don't watch news. I don't.
No, I
listen
try to
the
stay
radio
away,
anymore. It's just.
So actually, the funny thing
Good
is,
move.
I didn't see that on the news or anything.
Yeah.
There was a guy that's in my office. He showed it to me on Instagram, and I figured it was just like a video of like a fireworks store exploding.
Okay.
And that's actually what it said.
That's what it said. Yeah,
it's a fireworks store
the
explodes.
first one.
And then was something else completely. But they kept it was all over the news after that because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check out to see what's going on because I'm like, when did this happen? He's like moments ago. I'm like, holy shit! So I went on the news and checked all the different news stations and everything, and they're like, yeah, don't know what the cause is or what this is or what happened, but this explosion's huge. And I mean,
it did though. It looked like a nuke. Like it looked like a hydrogen bomb.
Yep.
That just mushroom cloud, huge craziness.
Yeah. So
well, and back to like what you're saying with regulations and rules and all that kind of stuff. That there's different camps on all of it, right?
Sure.
A lot of that stuff keeps us safe.
It does.
Yeah.
100%.
It really, really does. And
I mean, you can complain about it all you want.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got it pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I don't get bent out of shape about face masks, right?
Right.
Like, I don't because like if that's a freedom you're going to take away from me to like not have an exposed face in public,
okay,
whatever.
And I've made the argument before. I'm like, it's like going into a store that requires you to wear a shirt.
Well,
I can put a mask on for a half hour.
If you're a man.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
And again, not to get political, but like those are the types of things that get me furious because the same people that are like, well, this is the first step to taking this away, that away. It's like, okay, you're also the one that like 3 months ago was talking about like fear mongering and like, how can you don't let these people convince you that,
It's like weed's a gateway drug.
right.
Yeah.
like, say that with
If
a
you
straight
start
face.
that, you're gonna be doing heroin in 2 years. It's science.
It's science.
Science.
Proven fact. Yeah.
It's a good fair tactic to tell your kids. But yeah, man, it is. It's true. I mean, got it pretty good here in America.
Yeah, we do.
It's well, and not everyone has the perspective of being somewhere else, right? Like, there's a lot of people that do. But
yeah, you guys being in the military
Sure.
saw a lot of shit, I'm sure. I mean, like you saw the way people live and what they have to deal with in other countries, and
not being able to do what you want.
yeah.
And I'm not talking about walking down the street without a face mask. I'm talking about, hey, I'd like to be a teacher for a living. Mm-hmm. Like, don't have that option.
Hey, I'm going to start a business out of the trunk of my car.
Right.
And like wherever the fuck I want.
Right.
And see what happens. I mean, you can't do that. I mean,
I
Like,
want
it's
to have
all
a social media
perspective.
account and like talk
Right.
shit about the
I
government.
want to be exactly.
I would like
It's-
to listen to the news and not the news that is procured by
Created by you.
creates the media.
Yeah.
I mean, all those kind of things. It's insane to think about like how, and again, it's just all perspective,
Yeah.
and if you don't have that perspective, it's not your fault.
No,
But
I mean, it's easy to think like it's like with a job. The grass is always greener on the other
Right.
side, right? You're like, well, this place is terrible. I want to get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, we'll give it a try.
right.
And then you get to that new spot, you're like,
Damn it, I should have been back there. I should have stayed there. I had it good over there. Yeah.
All right, this is really good.
See? Yeah.
It is.
I might go back to
And
bourbon,
actually, I'm going back to bourbon, but
I was gonna.
but this is good.
No, I'm not gonna sit here and say it was. I drank all of it, and it was actually. It's very good. I'm gonna say actually really good. I trusted you.
it's going to get Don Julio as a sponsor, like moving forward. So when
that'd be great,
pre-stripper
yeah.
days, and then
Yeah,
that-
and then we'll go to
And that way,
that'll
when
get us
we're
into-
post stripper days, like yeah.
suburban dads have gone to tequila.
Tequila dad.
that's kind of ironic.
Doesn't roll off
right?
the tongue. Well, that one's like in a cask, all right. I mean, isn't that the whole?
Oh yeah, this is the Scotch one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of works.
Yeah. See, we're still staying true.
All right, so this is great.
Fake news.
All
all
right,
we
so
do here.
what are your girls into? So 3-year-old, you said?
3-year-old
Is your
yeah.
oldest?
Yeah, so Evelyn is the 3-year-old, and now she is into dressing up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So like we'll go through like 15 costume changes a day,
Oh yeah, that's fine.
and of course all of those costumes get put back nicely and neatly.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So there's that. Cecilia is playing off of everything that Evelyn does right
Yep.
now. So like teacher, student, like,
Right.
and she's a year and a half younger, and she's
Yeah.
going to take on everything that she does. She's
Yep.
going to keep up, run with, climb with,
Yep.
roll with, whatever.
They do it fast, man. That's a crazy thing to see, like how quickly the second one picks up on everything. And they get very daring, and they start doing everything their older siblings doing, and it's terrifying. But at the same time, it's the second one, so they're like, they're like rubber, they're fine.
Yeah, right. I was the second born, and I had an older sister, but my older sister beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Right. And so like,
I get it.
I can, yeah, right. All right,
there you go. Yeah. I need to keep tally here on these insults. These are good.
Yeah, these are good. See, we should have that too.
Yeah, we do need like a little tally.
Yeah,
marker.
I start writing stuff down too.
No, but I mean, being the second born, I think it builds the character, it builds the toughness and the resiliency, because you are behind from the get go.
Right.
Yep.
So you got to just catch up, and you got to be resilient. You got to look at opportunity. You got to make your own voice. You got to be able to set yourself apart from being overvoiced. So I have an affinity for secondborns or lastborns.
Sure.
Yeah. That's me, last born here.
Yeah.
2 older brothers. I got my ass kicked a lot. Yeah, Ian's the firstborn. I know, one of those over there.
Typical.
They're the worst,
You're gonna
man.
catch 2 jokes now.
Yeah. Now you've done it.
No, that's cool. Are they? So my daughter's 3. She just turned 3 in July. So we recently started her back into gymnastics.
Okay.
And she loves it. It's so she did it before like quarantine and all that kind of stuff. But it was always the well, they call it mom and me, but I was usually the dad in the class, you know. Yeah. But now she's on her own.
Yeah.
And she's hilarious with it because she keeps like looking at. So you have to like be above the gym. There's like a little parent area, and so you watch out. But she constantly looks up, which I didn't think that she would do. For whatever reason, she just kind of does her own thing and doesn't really care what you think.
Yeah.
But she just kept looking up and like, hey, you know, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Checking to make sure you're still watching.
And she was doing everything she was supposed to do. But it was very interesting, especially being quarantined for a couple months and not really leaving the house and all that kind of stuff. She just jumped right back in, but she just kept kind of doing that. I don't want to call it a nervous look up, but
But just checking to see.
Yeah,
I mean, because I think they're so used to you being around constantly.
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, is dad
but
or mom
I'm
still up
so
there?
glad that she's back into something. I mean,
Right.
same thing
Yeah.
with my son. You know, our boys do the at the same
Ninja.
gym, the ninja class.
Yeah, and they're both in
And that's
T-ball
really
at this
fun.
time too.
Ninja
so,
class.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like
it's
ninja
like-
training or something like. I'm telling you, man.
Dude, Sammy's. So it's American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
So that's the idea behind it. So they're like learning how to jump and fall and climb and just kind of all that kind of. At the end of the day, it's something for them to do that's active.
It's an
that
it's an activity.
is away from us.
Burn some energy.
Yeah, burn some energy. It's awesome.
Yeah, we well, she's not in like a formal class, like dance class or anything. We do like a dance party.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll do the YouTube, and then I'm big on like it's almost like escape and evade training with the older, because I got 2 girls, right?
Yeah.
And the world is what it is, and I got to make sure that they can handle themselves.
Sure, absolutely.
So it's like almost like judo / just escaping, getting away. You know, my daughter Cecilia gouged me in the eye the other day. I was like, I wanted to like discipline her, but I'm like, no, that was good.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm training you for. You actually
nailed that.
you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's
Crushed
cool.
it. That is awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like it's little things like that, like
Yeah.
keeping them active, keeping them doing something.
Yeah.
And
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have to have some type of activity that's exciting and fun for them. That's not sitting at the house and playing in the backyard. It's like get something some type of structure going.
Right.
That's why I'm excited for school to start
Oh, cannot wait.
because I need somebody else to be telling my kids. Yeah. It's like tell my kids what to do. I was at the playground the other day actually, and Sam. So there's my kids, and there's like a little boy running around, and all of a sudden these 4 older kids come. I mean, just storming the playground, like just maniacs, just swinging sticks and just screaming, and they come flying in like I'm like, oh, here we go.
Like my kid last night.
Yeah, basically, yes. So I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be crazy. So anyway, as soon as those boys start running around, both my kids start chasing them, and they're playing with them, and I mean, there's roughhousing with them, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the one mom screams at the kids, all right, no, it's just screaming, and both my kids stop, and they're like, she's like, I'm really sorry. She goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm like, they need to hear somebody else's voice besides mine. I'm
right,
like, I
true.
love it. I'm like, and she wasn't yelling at my kids. She was yelling at hers, but it scared the shit out of my kids. But I'm like, they need another voice. They need somebody else telling them what to do. because they need that. Like I can't. You can only go so far. I mean, as a parent, I mean,
it gets stale.
It gets stale. It's like
and I think
my 2-year-old, my youngest one, laughed in my face the other day when I yelled at him, and I was like, okay, well, this kid needs to go to school or daycare.
They need to learn the general respect for adults and like
exactly.
So we have a close group of friends, and we are group parenters in that friend's situation, right? So like if my kid is acting like an idiot, you need to take care of him. And I will do the same to your kids.
Same thing with us. Yeah. We had a little camp out type thing last night where we so it was Ian and I and our other friend Brian, and we had our three, like our oldest kids with us. So we had the 3 boys with us, and same thing. We yelled at our kids. Same. I mean, they need it though.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
And it means almost more when it comes from
absolutely, because when somebody else yells at you, it's terrifying. When it's not mom and dad, it's like, okay, shit.
Well, and it's great because we all have the understanding, as I'm sure you do with your friends or whatever, that like, yes, not only do I approve of you getting
I'm comfortable with it
and doing something wrong, I expect it. Just like I will do for your kid. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because they need to.
And again, that's like one of the reasons that we started this thing was we realized pretty quickly that not everyone has like their good friends go through parenting at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. Like for you to have that with your friends, like that's amazing.
It makes it so much easier.
It makes life a lot easier.
And it works the other way too. So like when that kid is not yours and they're doing exceptional, like when you compliment that kid, that goes a long way. Like
sure.
So Thomas, who is the son of our close friend, he really like watches over Cecilia, the little one of ours, and like takes care of her. And he's really nice to Evelyn and all that stuff too. And he's, I think, 7 now, right?
Okay.
So they're considerably younger. So he watches over them and he does a really good job. So I said to him, like, hey, Thomas, like, I really appreciate you being so good to my girls.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you're welcome.
That's awesome.
And he took that in too, because
you can tell when a kid knows.
Yeah, you do. So, same thing with my niece.
Mila,
So Mila, my niece is 9, and she watches like, all the other. The oldest after her is Sam. He's 4, my son, and she's the same way. She's great with all the kids. Yeah. And I pulled her aside the one day, and I just started telling her how amazing she is. And I'm like, you are Sam's hero. Like he looks up to you, and you're so amazing with all the other kids, all the younger ones. And I could tell she was taking it in. But like a few days later, my brother calls me, and he's like, Mila was telling me what you said. Like she was like so excited. She was like in tears, like that you told her that. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I mean it. I'm like, that means the world to me that she's that great with the kids. And
well, and I think to your point, like getting that positive reinforcement as
from somebody else,
5 or a 6 or a 7-year-old or a 3-year-old for that matter,
it goes a long way.
It's going to perpetuate that behavior.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's okay. That's rewarding, right? And that means a lot to him. So it's like I'm going to keep doing that.
Yep.
And it's also a good example of.
I mean, that's just.
And it's also a good example of how you just treat people, right? Like you're talking to that kid as not how a parent would talk to a kid, but as like, hey, you did a really good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now they're going to understand that like when somebody does something that you think is a good thing, that you tell them about it and you reinforce that behavior.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And that goes with our tagline there, raising good humans.
Raising good humans. Like that's all we can do. And if we do a good job of that, man,
it's good for the future.
It's an investment, really.
It really
absolutely is, man. That's what we're doing. I mean, as parents, we gotta get them prepped for the future here. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out real quick.
What's the matter with it?
Nothing.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, we're cool.
Okay.
I thought I was gonna hate this vent. But it's kind of
it's great.
I'm extremely jealous of that seat.
Yeah.
Because I was sweating before. Like my forehead was like.
Well, it takes a while for this building to cool down. So
I need to show up here at like noon on like podcast days and just turn down the air.
That would be good
because it gets warm in here.
Yeah. Since it's a share space, they have like a sign over it: "Do not touch and do not set."
No, they're pretty good actually.
They're good. Yeah, we've only forgot to turn it back up one time. Yeah.
Well, that was bad.
You leave dirty glasses, you get a cold atmosphere.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Boom.
True.
Boom. I need a boom button.
We need a lot of buttons.
Yeah. Let's get some new buttons.
All right. We should work on that.
That's what she said.
I haven't hit that in a while.
That's what she said.
All right. I'm done.
I like that one.
That's one of our favorites.
I'm waiting for the day my kids say that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
I feel like Michael all the time. I just always want to scream. That's what she said. So many opportunities all the time. And just the real world.
Have you guys heard the Adam Sandler phone wallet keys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
My daughter said, or she loves that song. She's like, Dad, what's fuck? Like, the only words you're allowed to say in that song are phone wallet keys.
Yeah, that's it. The rest
The
of
other
them are
word,
off limits.
No other words.
What is that? Don't say it. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a dad word.
Yeah. It might come out every now and then. Don't repeat it.
I wanted to see him redo it for COVID
Yeah.
because before COVID it was phone wallet keys, and now it's phone wallet keys, mask, hand sanitizer.
The memes-
But I think he adapted it for that because he's just going to stay home and on his toilet and
Well, yeah,
be on
that's
his
true.
phone.
He's good.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do anyways.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do anything. So
Yeah, those memes lately though of like the person. It's like when you forget your mask, or you get to the door and realize you forgot your mask.
Like the
Happens to me all
runner.
the time. Yeah,
the runner one was
yeah, exactly. It's me all the time. I get to the door, I look at everybody, I'm like, shit.
well, that's like
turn around.
today. We went out to dinner,
I
and
forgot
I didn't
my-
have like the normal mask, so I
Yeah.
have like some backups, just whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a
It
deal.
wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah.
It would be worse, I think, if it was beard season. But how is that for you?
It's annoying because so after like an all day of wearing my mask, like the bottom will like come out, and it's got this weird like shape to it.
I compared it to like a 70s bush, like
Yeah, exactly.
like it's the underwear, like it's coming out, it's puffing out the sides, like just oh god.
Yeah, it's bad.
70s had to be a tough
Are
time.
you a beard product user?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I feel like you could get a pretty epic beard.
Oh yeah.
You look like you could get
And I'm a product user.
yeah.
So I have actually shout out to Marky Fresh. So that's where I go for haircuts and whatnot. But he actually, so our buddy Marco, who owns the place, he actually made his own beard balm.
Okay.
And so I get that and I use it. And I don't use it all the time, but when it gets, I'm actually to the point now where I'll start using it again before my next, before I trim it down again. But yeah, once it gets to a certain length, I have to.
What kind of product do you use?
So I'm really big on essential oils. So like I'll put essential oils in it. I like the stuff, like stronger stuff, rosemary. It's kind of a manly with a cedar or something like that. I don't have a particular brand that I'm loyal to. Combat Comb Over, I think, is one of the better known businesses that do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't have a brand loyalty to beard product.
So if you're really into essential oils, you need to listen to the episode that's going to come out next Friday.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, Steve Tryon. So he's a police chief, and he worked with my dad for a long time. He was in the Marine Corps.
Wellness
He
Traditions.
also owns Wellness Traditions. Him and his wife run Wellness Traditions out in Eastlake. And he's like a
He's a massage therapist. Right? Yeah,
plus
his wife.
Reiki master.
Yeah.
And
Oh, nice.
he was telling us he really went into a lot of the essential oil stuff that I was just like, holy crap! Like,
Dude, he got me like really into it. Like I started looking up everything.
Yeah.
Like so it was last Friday,
Friday. Yeah.
and we were hanging out and he was talking. We were doing the podcast and we had a little situation, so we had to move it to Sunday. But anyway, for the last I don't know, from like 10 till midnight, we just hung out and he just told us all about essential oils and everything. And I'm like, damn, man, I'm looking at all of this stuff. It's like for sinus issues and everything. Dude, he got bit by a spider bite. I hear something crazy. This dude got bit by a brown recluse last week.
Ooh. Where at?
In southern Ohio.
Okay.
And he was on a canoe. He was kayaking. Yeah, it was kayak. And he felt something on his leg. He looked down and he saw a brown recluse. Well, sure enough, he got bit. So he looked at it and it was like pussing. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time he's been bit by one.
Right.
Not many people can say they've ever been bit by one. But anyway, he told us all about how bad the first time was, how sick he was and everything.
He lost a bunch of skin from the first one.
He said it after a while, it just got hard and it just fell out. Like a chunk of skin just fell out. It was disgusting. So this time around, he told his wife and she's like, all right, I got this. She took care of it. She had basil oil.
Okay.
And she put that on there. And so that was, I don't even know how many days after that he got bit.
It was like 2 days later.
Yeah.
That he was here. So I think
he
it was
showed it.
Wednesday and that was Friday.
Yeah, it was Friday. So it still looked kind of rough when he showed us the bump. And then Sunday
Then he
he showed
came
it
back
again.
Sunday.
It looked like it was like a pimple.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like,
So
he's like, I just been
basil
putting basil
for-
oil on it this whole time. And he's like, he's like, I never got sick. It doesn't hurt. Nothing. He's like, it's a little itchy maybe, but that's about it.
Crazy.
I'm like, so essential oil, I mean,
I believe in this stuff. I mean,
sure.
I mean, if it works, everybody's different. But
Absolutely.
I mean,
I've been doing eucalyptus in my mask.
Yeah.
And like at work, it's just amazing. Like I'll do a refresh on the eucalyptus, and like I almost get like a boost of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
One of my directors,
The
like,
combo is spearmint eucalyptus.
okay,
Okay.
maybe I'll try that one. Yeah.
So I remember there was a guy when I worked at Bally that we had a steam room there, and I would go in the steam room after I was done working out, and this guy used to put eucalyptus oil in the steamer though. But dude, I'm telling you though,
Way too much.
you go in there and you walk in and it's like your eyes are like instantly just tears. I'm like, dude, you gotta stop.
It's like CS
I mean,
gas.
I'm like, I get it, man.
That was my shit, man.
I get what you're doing here, but you can't do that because not everybody else likes this and it hurts.
CS gas.
What's the male equivalent of Karen?
Todd.
Todd. Yeah, it's Todd or Chad.
Dude, you want to know what I dealt with at Bally?
It's definitely Todd. You're right.
I didn't want to be Todd at the gym.
Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know.
Margot.
Dude, I could write a book on my time at Bally.
Oh, that was the best.
I dealt with a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of things that no one should ever see.
What's the pool temp at?
I got asked what the pool temperature was every single day. So the pool at Bally, I got phone calls.
Wait, you worked there? Or
Yeah,
you just,
I worked there.
used to work
Yeah.
there, yeah.
And I would get calls every single day from 5:30 till the time I left. Probably once or twice an hour. Someone
Worked
asked me
what,
what
like
the pool
5:30 a.m. to 1 or something like that?
And I coached baseball at Menor.
Okay.
I was a JV coach there for a few years. And but yeah, from 5:30 in the morning till 1 o'clock, I was getting phone calls asking what the pool temperature was. It got to the point where people would prank, like our friends. Chelsea called me a few
We
times.
used to always call him.
Just call and ask me what the temperature was. I'm like,
What's the pool temperature at this morning?
It's 82, like always. It's always 82. It's like, well, no, it's not. I was there yesterday and I checked with my thermometer. I'm like, oh my God. It's every day. A lot of naked people, just always yelling at me. They refuse to. I don't know if it's like a certain time, like a certain age that you reach where you're at the gym that you just refuse to wear a towel around your waist. It was always on their shoulders. Yeah. I walk through to go to the bathroom, and it's like you have to walk through the locker room to get to the bathroom, and they're like, "Steve, you catch the game last night?" I'm like, "Dude, you got to put it, just put a towel on. Just please put a towel on." I had a guy come out into the lobby.
Just match it, man. Put a sock
He goes,
down there.
"Steve,
Something.
do something." I'm like, "No one, not one person wants to see this. I don't care how comfortable you are." I had people come out. Somebody came out into the lobby one time and like, "Steve, you got to get in here. There's something wrong with the showers," and he's completely naked. I'm like, "You got to get out of the lobby." I'm like, "You got to get back in there, man." Christ.
Is it an age cutoff? I mean, is that
It's
like,
got to be an age thing,
I think it's when
right?
you reach a certain point where you're like,
I just don't give a fuck.
I'm like, but why? I'm like, you got the towel. You have the towel.
not many people are looking at it anymore. So
Yeah, that's true. He's like, I want somebody to see this.
Yeah.
That's
I actually
true,
did have a
yeah.
guy that used to wear really short shorts, and he would like purposely have it like hang out of the side, and I'd get women go like, "Steve, he's doing it again." I'm like, "Dude, you gotta, you can't, man." I'm like, "You buy some longer shorts."
That was the best job because I got to go in there and work out.
Yeah, I
and
used to
then
get to- I
hear
used to-
all the stories of the crap that he had to deal with all day.
I saw a lot, man. It was. I mean, I have a lot of stories from that place. I could go for days on things that happened there, and it was good times. Good times. Yeah. I mean, it's an age. I guess it's like when their kids are like, I don't know, up till 4 years old or more. Like my kids always like to be running around naked.
My kids never wear pants.
Dude, my son was waving. Both my kids were waving to my parents last week out the window. They both just hopped out of the bathtub and they ran to the window. I have a huge bay window, and they're just standing out there on top of the couch, just waving. I'm like, you guys, the whole neighborhood. There's people walking their dogs past the house. I have 2 naked kids in the window. I'm like, get off the couch. Just get down. Hide behind the couch. You could wave still. Get your penises off the window.
I mean, my daughter too, though. Like, she doesn't care. She does not want to wear pants.
They say aging is like a bell curve. So like the stuff that you start out doing is the stuff that you end up doing. So
That makes sense.
It goes all full circle, and
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm like terrified for my kids to go back to school though, because
They're
they've
comfortable.
gotten really, really used to, especially like COVID first started and we were very structured.
Right.
We had learning time and we had all this kind of stuff.
Well, you guys were both
like, just to
teachers.
be
I mean, no,
honest,
you used to be a teacher, but you
last
still have
month-
that.
yeah, but we still had jobs.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So we could just like instruct.
Yeah, yeah.
Last like 6 to 8 weeks, it's just been, yep, this is good enough. Like, do this, do that, whatever.
It's
Here's
tough
the
because we're
iPad.
all still working.
Yeah, we're
We all
working,
still have to work. It's not easy.
And then apparently also with that became like we're less. I don't care about what you wear.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't worth the fight. So no pants is no pants. We got home from my kids or from Gibson's t-ball game this morning. And we get back and he wanted to build some Legos before I had to go get some work done. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, why don't you get out of your uniform, like put it in the dirty clothes so that it's washed for next week. He goes, okay, I'll go change. I'm like, all right, sweet. He goes upstairs and he comes back down like 30 seconds later. I'm like, that was way too quick. Like, and I hear him coming down the stairs. He comes downstairs. His jersey is still on. His high socks are still on. No pants, no underwear.
Just Porky Pig in it. Just doesn't even.
How did this even compute in your head? Like, this was how you got changed. He's like, well, my pants are going to be washed. I'm like, how about your jersey? How about your socks? How about putting new pants on?
Maybe that would be a good idea.
He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, no, that wasn't a question. That wasn't a request.
No, I told you what you're supposed to do.
Go get dressed.
No, listen, what I'm telling you is get upstairs and change.
You're going to kindergarten in 3 weeks. You got to wear pants.
I know, man.
And that's the scary thing, because that puts it into perspective. Yeah, you're going to be going in front of people that you don't know and where this is a offense.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
Right.
Can you imagine being a teacher?
Oh, it's going to be rough, man.
I just can't even imagine.
That's why teachers drink.
Yeah.
That's why they drink.
God bless all of them. At daycare
You know what,
is all the
they're
way up,
so
man.
good, though.
That's what I mean. But I mean, that's their passion. But God bless them, because I mean, I can't. A daycare, especially, I can't even imagine. Like, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Can you imagine being in a room with like a bunch of 3-year-olds?
I mean, I do it sometimes.
I know. I just can't imagine. I
couldn't do it.
No,
It's
no
rough,
chance.
man. Like, but I tell you what, I remember when June 1st is when we were allowed to open back up. And I was a little bit nervous because we had 8 weeks off where teachers weren't with their kids. Right. And, just time, that much time off of doing anything, you get rusty, whatever. And then not to mention in that situation, we were worried about, all right, what kind of habits have the kids picked up? And,
That's at 8 weeks.
They were amazing. They came back, didn't miss a beat. Now, schools, yes. But
that was at 8 weeks.
I
think about 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just an extended summer break. I mean, it is going to be rough. The kids
I think the kids will.
are going to
I think they'll
but
all.
I think they're going to bounce back.
I think the
that
younger
they're
kids will probably
ready.
bounce back a little bit quicker.
Quicker than the older kids, yeah.
Yeah, because that's tough. Because I mean,
there's just a truncation that happens with older kids. Like summer, everything you put in their heads the year before is gone.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
have to reteach the first half of the year.
Sure.
And
Yeah, that's true.
like the younger ones will. I think they'll adapt pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think that'll probably be easier.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to find out real soon.
I mean,
At that age, you're learning how to like talk to other people.
Absolutely.
And, like, socialize.
it's
schools-
easier.
yeah.
They got it. They'll figure it. They'll all be fine, but we'll see. Like I said, I just don't envy. And I just can't imagine having to do that job.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I see like, obviously my wife's a teacher now. So like watching directives come down, plan 1 changed. Plan 2.
Yep.
Plan 2 changed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, what do we start to really believe at this point, and what do we prepare for? Because what's going to be reality probably isn't anything that we've prepared for.
No,
yet.
absolutely not. I mean,
No, there's no chance it will be. And my big fear is that cold and flu season's going to hit, and people are going to freak out. And I'm afraid that everyone's going to expect childcare centers to then pick up the slack. And I'm just here to tell you, it's just not going to happen.
no, you're already probably
We're already maxed
you're
out.
maxed out. Yeah.
We're going to go through waves of shutdown again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because we're going to have cold and flu season. Everybody's going to be sick at some
I think
point.
the second wave could potentially be tougher on the economy than the first wave.
I have to agree with that. Yeah. But then think about it too. Like, cold and flu season, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
People are going to be freaking out. They're going to be pulling their kids out before anything even hits the fan again.
Well, we hope that they do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, absolutely. But
but
just being like, this is probably COVID. Like, get them the fuck out. Like, it's going to be scary for everybody. And then not to mention, my kids haven't been around a lot of other kids this whole time.
Yeah.
And they worked for a while to get their immune systems boosted to, we've talked about this before. Their first year in daycare is a nightmare. It's like they come home with something every day. I'm getting sick every day.
Yep.
now we've all just been kind of hunkered down. All the kids have been secluded, and they're gonna hop back into it. It's gonna be the same thing again.
Right.
Yeah. We're gonna have runny noses. We're gonna be hugging each other, chewing on toys, and last night, oh my god,
dude.
So last night our kids were saying,
our kids, to be fair, in the last maybe month, we finally started. Well, it was
probably more than that, man.
Probably
I think we
2
got
months.
pretty
It was like
comfortable.
Gibbs' birthday, right?
Started doing birthday
June,
parties.
We started
and things.
okay, we can get the kids back together, but
In
not
summer, it's
all the
outside.
time.
Yeah.
We're outside hanging out, and so they were good. We did a little bit here and there. Last night we got the boys together.
Did our little camp out that
And it wasn't really.
it ended at
one went too.
so we
10 o'clock we were done.
they were exhausted. The kids were just they were all like. My son wanted nothing more than to just go in the tent. He's like, I want to camp. I want to camp.
Bad for him, man. He was into it.
He was very upset because they're tired. It's 10 o'clock, and they're like, oh, I just want to go home. Like our buddy's house that we were at, his son's like, can you guys leave?
Yeah.
And he really wanted to go to
He's
bed.
tired, yeah.
And
He's
Sam,
tired.
my son is just saying, he's like, I just want to go in the tent. He's crying. He's very upset about it. He was tired too. So we worked it out. But anyway, we're all saying bye, and we're like, okay, guys, give each other a hug. So the three of them go up and they hug each other. And my son walks into the group, hugs them, and sneezes into everyone's faces.
I mean, not on purpose, but it was.
He sneezed
tried to hold it in and
then-
just.
But just in a very kid way.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Right.
It's the most harmless thing ever.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good about covering his mouth, but he's got his arms wrapped around his buddies, so it's
Yeah.
like in their faces.
We just look at each other. We're like, well,
Well,
and
so
this
much-
is why schools are going to get
Yeah,
shut down.
exactly. This is it right here. We worked so hard, and this is what we got. And then they start
Oh,
then they do it again because they thought it was because you can't
We're
help but laugh.
laughing.
You can't help but laugh. So they think it's funny. So they get back into this. They're all fake sneezing in each other's faces. We're like, oh god,
Well, and that's going to happen at school. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
they're kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we go,
Anybody
try
that-
my mask on.
Anybody
and,
that thinks that that's not going to happen has
Right.
not worked with kids.
Right.
Yeah. How do your daughters do with 15-month-old? Probably doesn't matter. No mask. Probably doesn't do the mask.
Yeah, we don't even do the mask with
Yeah.
15 months old.
But
With your 3-year-old?
3-year-old, yeah,
She,
she-
won one? She likes it or
I mean,
no?
I wouldn't say
Like
she
my
likes
daughter
it. Yeah.
loves her
Really?
mask. Oh, it's hilarious. We got her this pink mask.
Yeah.
And she hasn't really gone anywhere that she has to wear other than when we
Yeah.
go to the bookstore every once in a while.
yeah,
And they require it. So,
Yeah.
but she loves to wear it.
yeah.
And it's so cute because it's way too big for her.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a kid-sized one, but it's still way too big
Yeah,
for
they're
her.
huge.
But she loves wearing it. She's like, Daddy, you like my mask? I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful, honey.
Yeah, that's
Good
good, though.
job.
That's awesome because Sam doesn't care. He'll wear his mask.
Yeah.
Ben's he wore his mask yesterday. Liz sent me a picture of him. She took him to Target and halfway through he's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. He's ripped it off. I'm
Same, bro.
Yeah, so it's I
I
feel
think
you.
I think my daughter's neutral about it. Like she sees that everybody does it.
Yeah.
Doesn't understand why. Doesn't see
Right.
it as
Yeah, they don't get it.
an accessory at this
Yeah.
point either. So
Yeah. I think my daughter just really liked getting ones that were hers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like at first it was you couldn't get anything, so everyone had the same paper mask or whatever. And now that we got our Old Navy ones that's pink and purple, she's like, oh, these ones are
Old Navy has them.
yeah.
God, we should've made some- we
And
should've made-
they're good size for the kids. too.
Yeah, all right, good. I've been looking and I'm like,
I go
get him a Spider-Man one or something.
I go with the neck gaiter.
Yeah, the Gator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I want to get my son because he'll think that's cool.
Yeah. For sure.
I want to get the Spider-Man one for him. He wants Spider-Man really
Yeah, I
bad.
like
So
that.
I might just do that.
It's a good call.
Yeah, totally.
All right. What else we got to get through? We got to get through. Oh, so
Want to do go ahead.
No,
Proud
go
dad
ahead.
moment? Or no, you want to
Sure.
do something else?
Yeah, do that.
No, do you want to do
Do that.
something else?
do that.
Proud
Do
dad
that.
moment. Do that. Can I give you a quick proud dad moment?
Oh yeah.
All right, I got one for you guys. So the other day, I took my half day the other day. I picked up my kids from my in-laws' house, and let's do something crazy today. Let's do something different. Go somewhere where we haven't really been before. Try to make something exciting. So we went out to Chardon. I think it's called Clarendon Woodland Park or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this night, no one's gonna be there, dude.
Packed.
You want to talk about packed?
Yeah.
I mean, beyond packed.
It's a nice park.
It's a phenomenal park, but they have bike trails for the kids and everything. There's kids on bikes everywhere. People are fishing. There's there's kids everywhere. And my kids are probably the youngest by far out of all the kids. So they have this huge rock climbing wall. I mean, this thing's massive, and it's it's high. It's as tall as my house. I mean, I have a ranch, but to the gutter.
Yeah, it's tall.
But it's tall. So anyway, all these big kids are climbing on it, and my oldest son, he's just staring at it. I'm like, buddy, do you want to try to climb up there? And it's tough because it's like at an angle like this, and then it goes straight up, and there's different.
It's a legit rock climbing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So he just stood there for a while, and he's watching all the big kids do it, and he just stood there. I'm like, do you want to go do something else? I'm like, I'm kind of bored standing here. So eventually he's like, I'm going to try it. I'm like, okay. So he tried, and he got a little nervous. And it was tough. He couldn't do it. He kept falling, and he couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you want to go somewhere else? I'm like, you did good, buddy. That was a good try. And he's like, no. He's like, I want to stay around. I'm like, all right, so fine. That's cool. He kept trying. And then finally he gets up there, and he climbed all the way to the top. He climbed. So up on top, it's like a platform. Like all the kids are up there hanging out. And he climbed up there, and he made it to the top. Awesome. And I'm like, dude, that was impressive. And the one kid, he's probably like 9 years old. He's like, dude, he's only 4 years old. I'm like, damn, man, this is pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Then I'm sitting there thinking, how the fuck is he going to get down? Because there's no ladder down.
Yeah, there's not.
You have to use the rock climbing, like those little things to get down. Yeah. So he goes, okay, I'm coming down. I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, he's 50 pounds. If he falls, I'm like, can I catch him? I can catch him. I'm like, I got this. I was almost thinking like, all right, buddy, jump. I'll catch you. But he climbed down, and he got down, and he hits the ground, and he just starts jumping up and down. He's clapping. I'm like, dude, you did that. I'm like, that was awesome.
That's amazing.
And I told him, I pulled him off to the side. I'm like, listen to me. I'm like, I want you to know something. I'm very proud of you because you never gave up. You kept trying, and you did it. And he was just like, you could tell. I mean, he was so excited for himself. He did it like 5 more times, and I'm like, all right, we got to go. But
you're right.
But he was so pumped. I have a picture of him standing up on top, and he's got his chest puffed out. He's like looking at these other kids, like he's so proud of himself. I'm like, that was awesome. And I was very proud of him.
Dude.
So
that's awesome.
That was a very proud dad moment. Like, I was like, it kind of gives me goosebumps of how like proud of him I was because I'm like, Sam. He's a very timid kid. He's like very shy and everything. I mean, we're working on it. Like he's doing a lot better now, but that was awesome.
I think the ninja class.
Well, you saw the video of him
doing the
monkey bars.
Yeah.
So since then, he just goes back and forth on
Gibbs doesn't do the monkey bars. He goes, okay, watch this, Dad. And he gets on one, and he's like, I'm like, all right, well, you got to get to the next one. He's like, well, no, I'm just like holding myself here. I'm like, yeah, but monkey bars, bro.
I've been working on monkey bars for a long time, but I think that ninja class he's in is actually really, because he does it now.
I was
he's
showing
swinging
Gibbs
back
the
and
video
forth.
of Sam doing it. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm like, all right, let's do it, man. Like,
I've seen other kids at the park doing it, like older kids, and like their parents are like, okay, just helping them out and doing it, and they're trying. And the one mom I noticed, she's like, okay, your goal is to at the end of the summer get all the way across. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, so I told Sam, I'm like, eventually you're gonna be able to do this. I kept showing him how to do it, and he's like, just hold me. And all of a sudden he's doing this on his own. I'm like, holy shit, man, that's pretty awesome.
It's so funny how like certain things are scary to kids and certain things aren't. You know what I mean, like Gibbs, for example, like the monkey bars for some reason has always been like really tough for him. Like, I don't know if it's that transition or whatever, but like you put that kid in a pool and he'll do a flip into the deep end.
No fear.
And like
he has no fear about a lot of things.
And it's not like we did like any of those crazy swim lessons or anything like that. Right. He just naturally likes it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting though, like how certain kids
little it
take
could be like
on
the
different
smallest
things.
little thing that they're like just terrified of.
Right.
But I think them facing that fear and then doing it.
It's amazing.
So cool.
That's amazing.
So
that's a huge step just for life. You know what I mean? Like,
because you realize
that is
I
life,
can do
right?
it.
Like,
all
right, something whether I want to or not, I have to do it.
Yeah,
you get it done, and then you're like, oh, all right, that wasn't so bad.
And I tell my son that all the time. I'm like, I don't care if you can't. If you can't do it or figure it out, that's fine. But I want you to try.
Right? Yeah.
No matter what, I just want you to try. That's my biggest thing. Is just always try to do it. Don't just give up and say you can't do it. Right. Just try to do it. See if it works out. I mean, and he did. So that's my proud dad moment. So that's what we do for that whole segment is finding something that's you're proud of your child, or it could be a proud moment for yourself or your spouse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's something that you want to shout out your wife, yourself, or your kids.
I'm not going to pat my wife on the back. No.
We don't do that here. We don't do that here. Bunch of fellas hanging out. Cheers.
Become a habit, No, I mean, you said it kind of before too. Like facing fears and doing something that they might not be comfortable with, whether that's physical or emotional or interpersonal. I was a shy kid growing up, and I don't want my kids to be shy.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I and the kids will go for walks or jogs or whatever it is that we're feeling that day on a bike path that kind of goes behind our house. And there's always a lot of people out, especially with COVID. So like they got their dogs out and they're walking, they're having a good time. And Evelyn, my 3-year-old, she's shy, reserved, like just kind of a loner at this point. And I see like kind of glimmers of myself in that.
Yeah.
And she asked me, she's like, "Oh, Dad, a puppy. I wonder what that puppy's name is." So I said, "Well, why don't you ask the lady?" And so at first she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. Now every time we pass somebody, "Excuse me, ma'am, what's your puppy's name?"
Oh, I love it, man. I love
cute,
that.
And the way she says it too. And then she's like, "Okay, thank you, ma'am. Have a good day."
That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
It's so awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like a physical feat, but like that is a huge skill and a huge thing to take into life, and like to be able to
forget physical. Like that is.
That's.
I mean, so again, childcare
Huge.
world.
Yeah,
that's my world, right? Like a couple of years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, the industry changed from ABCs 1, 2, 3s to social emotional health. Right. And so what I've realized after going through classes and some education on that is like the ability to interact with other humans is more important than anything.
Yeah.
And so getting kids to be able to have the courage, because it's scary.
For sure.
To talk to people, right? Like I personally have never had that problem, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a chatterbox, and I can't. People usually have to shut me up. Same thing with my son. My son won't stop talking ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I guarantee he's talking right now. You know
His
what I
son
mean? Like
has stories for days.
Oh, it's hilarious.
amazing.
And that's
It's
wonderful.
crazy.
But it is a difficult skill for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And the earlier you can teach that or build that confidence.
and to reinforce it.
And to reinforce the fact that, like, hey, if you want to know something, you ask it. If here's the way to do it. So like I heard you mention like the emphasis on ma'am or sir or just the respect factor.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
excuse me, exactly.
Like
Usually
having manners.
Yeah, manners are
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
being
going to
polite
get
is
kids so far. in life.
absolutely. That gets you very far in life. Just manners and being polite to people is huge.
Because it's simple, right? Like
It's very simple. I mean,
It's 101.
be a good person.
exactly. So
Be a good person.
I'm the same way. I was a very shy kid. Like I was always hands in my pocket. Like people talk to me, I had my head down, just looking at the ground. And I'm like, and my son Sam is the same way. And I'm like, buddy, you just need to be confident. Like I've just been trying to build his confidence for a long time. Because I told my wife, I'm like, I just don't want him to. There's nothing wrong with the way I was. I mean, I'm fine. I had a lot of friends, and
I don't remember you being.
I think it was more like around adults,
shy.
probably. I think,
Yeah.
talking to adults and things like that,
Yeah.
maybe. I just didn't want to talk, I guess. But that was a very outgoing.
I'm not
person,
saying
I
you
guess.
weren't. I'm saying just
No.
like from knowing you, I don't remember
No,
you
but, like,
being like a.
Trust me. I mean, like as I got older, though, you get
Sure.
me into a bar or something like that, like around a stranger, I could sit there and talk to somebody for about nothing.
Right.
Like a perfect example would be my brother Mike, who could just talk to
Oh, Mike's the
anybody
best.
for about anything for a day. Like
He can
for
talk
days.
to you about nothing.
Exactly, and make it
It's
exciting.
amazing.
But yeah,
And
try to
make
build
you
my
feel so good about yourself for listening to him.
Yeah, true. It's very true. The guy is unreal.
It's the best.
It's a skill.
But my son is he's getting better. I said it recently too. I think to you probably. I think it's starting to backfire a little bit because now he starts to get a little bit cocky. He's been like,
It's good though.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
But you're right. Yeah.
Because I always told him like, you need to defend yourself. I'm like, stop letting people beat up on you and don't just sit there and take it. I'm like, if they're gonna hit you and beat up on you, I'm like, I don't want to say like hit them back,
It's a fine
but like,
line, right?
There's a very fine line. But I'm like, just stand up for yourself.
But I think the rebuttals come naturally too. So like,
True.
Like, I'm gonna talk some shit. I'm gonna get shut up in
Exactly.
the process along
Well,
the way. You know.
yesterday the kids were playing with the glow sticks, and we had these glow sticks that were like
there's
that
like
long, and they're so of course naturally the 5-year-olds, 4 and 5-year-olds start whipping around like nunchucks.
Yeah, and
you
I'm
know?
like, we're telling them like, you guys be careful. Those are gonna hurt when you get hit
Right.
with them. And
Of
sure
course,
enough,
Sammy gets hit in the
he gets
face.
in the face. So my
And
son's
like-
crying.
And like you told him like 4 times and like talked to him and like did your thing, and he was still like upset about it. And the next time it happened, I was like, Sammy, let me look at that. And again, this kind of goes back to like group parenting.
Well, a lot of times too, like in that situation too, not to cut you off, I will let somebody else go into
Sure.
it. Like so, I let Ian go into the into that whole thing and let
yeah,
him take over.
I was literally right
Yeah.
there. And I was like, Sammy, let me look at that. And he was like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it's not your parents.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm good.
Good, yeah.
You know? And but by the same token, I was like, the first time I didn't see what happened or whatever, and you were like, all right,
yeah, you're fine.
You're fine,
I'm like, I told you guys not to swing those around. You're gonna, It hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts.
It's just so funny to see them interact with all of us, and I mean, all kids are like that,
It's true. It is
they
good to
learn
have
by doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
we say,
no one was gonna get seriously hurt.
No,
right?
but it's
they
all
were
an
having a
accident. They're
good
having
time.
fun. They're just running around. They just had their s'mores.
Oh yeah,
The sugar hit.
Sugar kicked in,
and they were just animals, just like wolves, just like howling. There was, I mean, just out of control screaming.
They were having so much fun.
They had a
man.
blast, and
fun.
it was cool.
That's fascinating in itself too. Like food and how foods that they take in just totally changes behaviors.
It does. And then as soon as they were done, I'm like, they're running around screaming.
You called it too.
I'm like, wait for the
give
crash.
it about 30 minutes or whatever you said.
I'm like, wait for the crash. And sure enough,
I want to go
slowly
home.
start breaking off. They're like, buddy's son's like, hey, can you guys leave? And then Ian's son's like, I want to
really
go
tired.
home. I'm like, I told you it was coming.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, but solid. That's a great
and social emotional skills too. I mean, number one, like you said, my wife literally wrote a book on it. So like her master's thesis with another woman colleague of hers, they wrote the book on that. To sell back to schools. Like, hey, this is the stuff that you guys need to be focusing on because this is what makes people successful.
Absolutely.
Being able to relate is not how well you write in cursive; it's how you can relate to the person next to you.
Absolutely,
So
that is
Well, and
huge.
it's an ever-evolving field, and the fact that it took us so long to understand this is amazing to me.
Right.
But now that we're in it,
would you say that it's just happening now? That it's
No, it's probably been in I'd say like 5 or 6 years
Just,
ago.
I mean, it's
the
very
early
recent.
childhood world
Yeah.
started adopting it. I mean, again,
Well,
when
CLP
I
is-
started in it, it was very much focused on it was kindergarten preparedness. So, like that's kind of what we focus on.
Yeah.
Because when you send your child to me, you have an option of where to go, and a lot of times what parents want to hear is like, well, they need to be ready for school.
Right.
And so it was like, okay, well, we're going to make sure that we do the best we can for that kindergarten teacher. We're going to make sure that they understand how to count to whatever and they can do their ABCs and stuff like that. And what we found was that doesn't matter. It's more important to be able to teach that child how to learn rather than what to learn.
absolutely
And that's working
that
groups,
interaction.
that's also working by themselves, that's also asking questions and participating in group discussions and transitioning from one task to another.
Because I mean, honestly, when you get to kindergarten, that's when you start learning the numbers. That's when you start learning the ABCs. That's like that stuff. So prior to that, that's a great point. I mean, I didn't really think about it like that, but I mean, I can't really think back to. I can't really remember.
Dude, all I
preschool
remember
at all.
about kindergarten was like half days and naps.
I remember.
And I don't think they do that
I remember
anymore,
the ABC
but-
people, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I remember. But I
ABC
remember,
people,
I
yeah.
remember learning ABCs and learning my address, my phone number.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And some creepy ass remember the books on tape? You might not remember this, but we had like the books on tape. Like there was like this story about
do.
they had this story about a girl who always wore a ribbon around her neck.
Yes, I remember this one. Her head fell off.
Yeah, her head fell off. She got married or something. She met a boy or a guy, and then she gets married or something, and he was asking about a ribbon, and he took the ribbon off, and her head fell off. This is a story that
Where the fuck did you guys go to school?
Bellflower. That was a story that we used to have. Though.
I went to a Catholic school. They had it in the library. We didn't ban books back then.
No. But I remember we had the headset, like we had the big headphones, and there was like a little cassette player, and you put that in there, and we had a book, and like
I
you
don't
go through,
remember
you
this
see
at
the
all.
pictures, and I remember the story vividly. I remember this, and it didn't really affect me. I didn't really care.
I thought I was the only one that liked that book.
I liked it. I liked it, and I'm telling you what, I read that several times. Maybe why I don't know. Maybe why I like horror movies now. I don't know.
It might be.
I don't know.
No, it's
It's funny though, man. Like that was the type of stories we were listening to.
and I wonder if
Or reading.
like the impetus behind all of that was like post Columbine. You know, creating like a safe environment for kids so that they could focus on learning. I wonder if like that kind of created the shift in the paradigm. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just, I mean,
What's interesting to me is the way we communicate is so different today than 3 years ago, let alone 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I get people all the time. They're like, "Well, It's crazy that kids don't have to learn cursive. Who gives a shit?
You don't need it.
Like, what you guys say your name? I'm like, my signature is a mutant.
Literally,
Yeah, exactly.
you can write
Anybody read your
whatever you
signature?
want.
I could have a baseball player sign my a baseball or a card or something, and I'd be like, I have no idea who that is. I have like one of those baseballs that it's now in Sam's room. I can't read any of those.
Right.
There's just scribbles, and I don't know who the hell
I'm
they
like,
are.
well, what about writing a check? How many fucking checks do you write?
Right?
I mean, focus on balancing the check.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
Focus on the
that
important
I can
part of
understand.
it.
That can be a good skill.
Focus
right.
on the importance of that kind of thing, but not like
Not that.
how your signature. Wow, you almost took the table down too.
That's where 3 of my
Yeah,
checks
seriously,
went.
that might be. That was epic. But yeah, you're right though. I mean, like you use cursive for a signature, and that's about it.
No.
And you're
even
not
that,
writing anything
technically,
anymore.
You
really.
don't have to.
You don't have to. No.
Technically, you can print it. You can write an X. You can
Your mark.
do whatever you want. Like there's not a whole lot of guidelines on what your official signature has to be.
Yeah.
As long as it's yours.
Right.
By your hand, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's
It'll be
just
interesting
funny
to see
me,
how. Oh, go ahead.
like
Sorry.
well, we always did it this way, so it should be this way, and I just can't get
drives
past
me
that.
nuts.
I just can't. Like, why? Like, tell me why. If there's a good reason, I'm all ears, but there never is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like, well, we were never allowed to use calculators in school, so how come these kids can? Well, guess what?
Real world.
When we were little, everyone always said you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Now we do.
Guess what? I do.
And look, guess what? And guess what? And guess what? When you're at your desk at work, you'll probably have a calculator there.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and like
I
understand
can't do
the
long division.
fundamentals.
I can't do long division when I'm at work. I'll just bust out a calculator. I'll Google it. So
If
this
you
is
asked me to do
ever.
long division
I can
right
Google
now,
the
like
answer to
it
this
would,
question.
it would give
Exactly.
me, it
I'm
would
like-
take me a few seconds. Like I would have to really reach back to
Yeah,
figure out.
but I'm like, I'm not
Again,
gonna do
Marine, I
that.
know.
But it'll be interesting to see though, like how these different
But the
methods work.
social stuff.
I think that's very
The
important.
social stuff is so important
And
because
it's getting worse. I mean, like through social media and through electronic communications and all that stuff, I feel like socially the kids are getting worse.
I can agree with like so like
well, they're
for
getting
example,
different for sure.
they're getting different.
getting
I think,
different.
but I think
I don't
like,
know if it's worse or better or how
But-
that's
but I
going
feel
to
like they're-
translate
Yeah.
to the next generation. I don't know, but it is different.
It is for sure. I mean, text messaging became a thing when we were after high school.
Yeah.
So, so phone conversations really kind of started going out the window. Like, I mean, majority of your conversation with people is through a text message. You know what I mean?
I
And so-
remember like when texting first came out, I said, I'm never going to use that.
So did
because
I.
I'm just going to call people.
I'm like, I would tell people, I'm like, stop texting me because I don't know what the fuck.
Now
is
somebody
going on
calls
here.
Plus you have to push the button like 3 times.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you T9.
T9?
Yeah. But now it's like conversations are phenomenal, by the way. I talked to a friend that I haven't talked to on the phone since I don't even
Was
know
it
how long.
Jay?
Yeah, I talked to Jay the other
I talked
night.
to Jay
He
like
told me
a week ago.
So
like,
I was texting him throughout the day, like to see how he's doing. He lives in Vegas, and
Okay.
he texted me at like 10:30. He's like, "You up?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like,
It's
"You
so
want?"
funny. It's exactly what he did.
He goes, "You want to talk?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "Call me." So he called me. I'm like, "Let's have a drink." So I grabbed some bourbon. I sat down in the dining room. We talked for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I go, "Dude, this was awesome, man. I haven't done something
That's
like
what
this."
I love about this, man.
So to come back to this whole thing, this is what we get to do on a weekly basis, and
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. We get to put our phones down. Our phones are cameras.
Right.
So we don't have our phones in front of us. We haven't looked at our phones. Like it's just pure conversation.
So you
And
brought
it's,
up a calculator, and I was like, it's over there.
It's true.
hey, can you do some? Can you get me some long division for me real quick? Get your phone out. But
No,
I mean,
it is like communication is so different now.
It
They
is very
say
different.
that we're getting back to again bell curve. Bell curve. You know, like we have like the hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of what like emojis are,
Emoji,
right? Like we're back to that. I catch myself all the time writing emails and stuff like that are supposed to be somewhat professional, and I'm like, all right, I got to take some of this punctuation out. I don't.
I
need
know,
to
right?
use
Like
that.
I'm like, I don't need a hashtag in here. I don't need to abbreviate everything.
I want to make it clear, like my mood that as I'm writing this sentence.
Can I send you a GIF by chance? Or?
But it's insane though. Like that's how we and so we can either fight it and say, well, this is how it should be because this is what we were taught, or we can say, okay, this is how people are going to communicate and embrace it and what's really important is the idea behind how you communicate more important than the way you communicate.
I think that we have to raise the bar and say you have to be good at both. And so, yeah, there is a new way to communicate. It can't just be through text. It has to have some kind of feeling, some kind of, I guess, timbre to it.
Well, because I mean, you're going to go somewhere where you have to interact with a person, and you're going to have social interaction with them. Like if, for example, you go to a fast food place and you say, "Thank you, have a nice day," and you don't get a response back. Like that's just so simple customer service. Like, and it's kind of a lost art. Like for some people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that goes back to us being polite, teaching your kids manners.
Yeah.
That's very important.
But that's part of social emotional health. Yeah.
Yeah. That's important in schools.
Right.
For sure. And I'm sorry if I cut you off when you were making a point there.
I'm curious what your most used emoji is.
My most used
Probably
is
eggplant.
Eggplant.
Is it?
No, I'm joking.
Mine's probably the face palm.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah.
Fuck.
I use that a lot.
Face palm is
Constantly.
Yeah.
I use that one a lot, and I use the lines for the eyes and the mouth. Like just,
Yep, I use the sad face a lot. Like, sorry, can't do this tonight. Just a sad face.
I've gone from emojis to GIFs.
Yeah, GIFs.
GIFs are
Majority
Wonderful.
of my responses in like our group messages are GIFs.
It's so good.
You can find anything you want.
Oh yeah,
I know.
But it's so good. You can communicate so much more clearly what you're actually
But the thing
feeling.
is, though, like the best thing about GIFs too is like as soon as somebody says something, you could instantly imagine like a movie,
Right.
Of that character saying something, and I'm like, that's what I gotta find. I gotta find that
For
one.
years, we spoke to each other in movie quotes.
Right.
I think and now we can do it in GIFs.
Yeah, now they make it easier for us.
So much easier.
Everything's so easy.
My number one is Stifler from Old School.
Oh, yeah.
When he's like, you shot yourself in the leg. He's like, yes.
Oh yeah. So not actually Stifler, but his character.
Yeah.
Right.
He'll always be Stifler.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all he is
What's his
Stifler.
name? Sean
Jacobs.
Williams Scott. Scott Williams Sean.
You don't score until you score. Till you score. That's right, baby.
There's Stifler right there.
Is that the Goon?
No,
that's
from
American Pie.
yeah, it's from the first one. Yeah, when he's the lacrosse.
He's playing
coach.
lacrosse, and,
Yes,
and then he's got the other coach that just repeats everything. It's a culmination.
Culmination.
You don't score until you score. Till you score.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
So it's been on
So good.
HBO.
Has it?
Yeah, they play it.
I think I have HBO.
American Pie, and then American Pie 2 is on right afterwards.
Those are great movies.
So good. That was a great time.
So he's always Stifler. I mean,
Yeah,
He's just- yeah,
I
never
agree.
another.
He's the best. All right, go ahead. Next one.
All right, so you kind of gave us a dad hack
You did.
with the rock, paper, scissors poop.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have anything else, we can certainly talk about it. But we really like to pull out dad hacks just for something tangible to take away and think about. Mostly selfishly for us.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know I take dad hacks away and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
use
I'm going to use that one because it's true. It's something that we've
So, I
never
mean,
thought
I'm
about
definitely
before.
using rock, paper. Well, I don't need.
Well, no, you're.
I do, actually, though, because we still have to wipe asses.
I was going to say, do it with wiping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wiping's the worst. Sam always asks me, why's my
Today,
butt
actually,
itchy?
hold
I'm
on.
like, dude, your butt's itchy because you can't wipe properly.
Hold on. So we're doing this thing right now where, again, he's getting ready to go back to school. So I'm like, listen, dude, you really got to take your time. Wipe real good.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, 20 seconds, whatever. And he came out of the bathroom earlier today, and I was like, dude, get back in there. That was not 20 seconds. And he goes, well, the white stuff isn't there. I'm like, what white stuff are you talking about? He goes, the stuff. I'm like, toilet paper? He's like, yeah.
stuff.
I'm like, what the fuck? Take your pants off. We're going to change that shit. I'll go get you some toilet paper.
You're like the white stuff. You're like, I don't have to deal with this yet.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Wait till we have to start finding crispy socks all over the house.
No, he was worried there was no toilet paper, so he just pulled his drawers up and washed his. He still washed his hands and stuff. And I was like, okay, but that was still pretty quick. No,
The white stuff's gone.
Yeah, the thought process. Well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I guess we just move on because there's no white stuff, so whatever. It's probably fine.
I'm like, dude, you can like yell to me, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'll go get you toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm outside the door. That's like Sam. He'll be like, oh, my butt's so itchy. I'm like, he goes, why does this keep happening? I'm like, because you don't wipe properly.
That's a really tough skill
I can't figure out.
to.
Like, I'm like,
figure
dude, you
out.
got to. I'm like, the other day, I'm like, get the toilet paper,
And my
bunch it up,
daughters
and
know
put it on
better.
your fingertips, and just
I
get
think
in
the
there.
roll method is better. More
Yeah,
surface area.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just guessing.
I can't even think of what my method is right now. I'm just so. I don't even know anymore. It's just so natural.
And it's different too because like I've got 2 girls, right? And so that's a whole different permutation.
I remember.
Right? And
Or
yeah, so I think my my tactic is fast. I just get it done,
Yeah.
you know, and front to back, obviously.
yeah,
Yes, it's important.
yeah. Changing a diaper was tough for me to transition to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just more
Some-
crevices to deal
Yeah,
with.
sometimes I got to call him back up. I mean, I'm like,
yeah.
hey, Aaron, you got to get in here and
Yeah.
handle this because
I'm not really quite sure how this thing works. I mean, I know how these work, but I'm like, when there's poop around, I don't know how to work. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's
yeah,
everywhere.
Oh, blowouts with the girls so much worse.
God, I can't even imagine.
it's bad.
Boy, it was pretty easy.
yeah.
Just
You just wipe.
Just drop it. Pull up the
Girls, you kind of have to like make sure everything's clear.
yeah.
poop. There's always poop talk.
We talk so much about
Poop's a real thing.
But
that's a good dad hack,
I
though.
think-
The rock, paper, scissors, poop is a really good dad hack. And
Well, and I think naturally in parenthood, poop is the number one thing to discuss because you talk about texture, size, what it contains, and
yeah.
I mean, go to
send
color.
all
pictures.
facets.
Color, yeah. Color's a good
Always
one.
important because
Good descriptor.
yeah, for sure.
quantity, volume.
My son rocks some massive deuces that I'm just like extremely impressed with. Man.
Well, let's go back to proud dad moment. I mean, my daughter has laid some like long ass turds.
Yeah.
right? And like I'm like, holy shit, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
it's impressive. Like, it's like, give me a high five.
Yeah.
Like, why? I'm like, that's awesome.
One of
That's
those.
awesome. Sam used to have these like massive ones that like his diaper would be sticking out. Like, I'm like, what is happening back there?
Yeah.
And it's still coming out. I'm like, oh my god.
We actually recently had to take my daughter off the cheese.
Oh yeah,
She loves cheese.
we all
and
do.
She's constantly constipated. And like, so when it finally does come, she's just like, it's painful.
It's there, yeah.
And I feel bad for her.
I've had Sam screaming.
I was like, listen, is the enjoyment of the cheese worth
the
the
squeeze.
tears of the squeeze?
And she looks at you. She goes, yes, because I love cheese.
Yeah. I mean, I do too.
We all do.
I gotta falter for that.
Yeah, it's cheese.
So yeah.
I think if I had a dad hack, it would be like the first months. When I pack a bag, right, the baby bag or whatever you call that. I don't know.
Diaper bag.
Yeah.
Diaper bag, dad bag, baby bag.
Sure. I had a multi-pocketed like bug out bag, and I packed it the same way every time, right? So like I knew what was in which compartment had I needed access to said item, right? My wife could not stand that bag. She prefers this bag that is just one compartment and everything is just thrown in there, and like. She'll come home and like that bag will be thrown all over the place because I can't find shit.
I'm the same. Dude, when I go through the bag, I mean, I'm guilty. Everything's just thrown in there. It's like, boom, boom, we need this, this, and this. That's a great dad hack because there's how many times you ripping through a bag looking for one item. Yeah. And I mean, you're like you said, there's stuff thrown everywhere because you're like, where are the freaking wipes? And you're just tossing clothes out, diapers.
Dude, it's so
That's a
smart
great dad
actually
hack.
for a new dad though, because I remember my wife's found out she was pregnant, and somebody along the lines told me I was supposed to get her a gift for like being pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Missed that twice.
Well, no, I mean I think it was like
Fucked up.
I think it was like Mother's Day. So it was Mother's Day before he was born. So I was like, well, shit. All right, fine. I'll go. I don't know what to get her. So I got her this like fancy diaper bag, right? Yeah. And like I thought it was a practical gift, and it actually worked out okay. Like she was happy with
or
it.
something.
Probably.
Yeah, like some type of.
I don't think I got
tennis
the hint
bracelet.
that I was supposed to get.
So
But no,
diaper
so I got her
bag.
this like nice, like it was like a designer bag type thing, but it could be used as a diaper bag. And she was like, "Well, we'll just take that bag when you're going out with the kid or whatever." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not taking that bag. Like it's one compartment.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. Like, I need to know where things are.
Right.
So I got this other diaper bag, and I wouldn't let her use it because she would just put shit wherever she wanted to. I'm like, no. This is where diaper goes. This is where
the wipes
cream
go,
goes.
yeah.
This is where
Snacks,
wipes,
pacifiers,
snacks.
yeah.
This is where the puffs. There's a pocket for puffs. There's, we had it all covered. So I don't know if that's the military or if that's just like men. Like, we need things organized. I need to know where to reach.
That's perfect example of that is I ask Liz for her keys all the time.
No
when I
idea.
need to get her car. She goes, they're in my purse. I'm like, cool. I dig around in that purse for a half hour.
They're so fucking
I'm
big.
like, how do you live like this? I cannot find your fucking keys anywhere. I'm like, I have been.
It's so
She goes,
stressful.
I'm like, I can't find them. She goes, they're in there. I'm like,
Well, it's worse now.
I'm
The
like, I was
cars
digging
don't
through-
need keys. Like, they just need the fob. So it
you
can
carry
be
a purse out
anywhere. Like, you don't have to have them accessible. You just
No.
have to be somewhere where
Yeah,
it's
so they're
around
like,
the
oh,
car.
so they just throw their purse up against the side of the car.
Yeah.
Nope, open, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Savages.
I don't know.
I can't do it. I can't do it. The purse is like a nightmare. I don't know how they do it.
I got to a point where I didn't even have to take the backpack off.
Yeah,
Just
you
reach
just knew where it
around.
was. Yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry.
What do they call that?
Dad hack.
Have that bag organized.
Yeah.
Know where everything is.
I mean, it makes it so
What's that
much.
thing you pull a arrow?
Oh,
out of
arrow,
scabbard
yeah.
or-
Oh, yeah, scabbard. Yeah.
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 Or a sheath.
Sheath?
Or
Sheath.
quiver.
Quiver.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's it.
Isn't it quiver the... No,
Quiver's
okay.
for arrows,
Arrows,
yeah.
yeah.
A sheath would be for
sword?
a sword, and a scabbard would be for a knife.
Oh.
Well, perfect.
Yeah. I think.
We'll see. If we had our
Sounded good.
knives and our arrows and everything...
Someone's Googling that.
Like, if they had that back in the... Like, if we, stayed true to the way things used to be, we would know that.
Yeah, you're right. But
We
we
don't.
didn't. Now we
Because
communicate
now we're using
with
GIFs.
poop emojis.
We got rid
And
of it.
gifts.
I haven't used a poop emoji in a long time.
I haven't either.
Like, I have my favorites. You know how you do it has your recents?
Yeah.
It's like, same ones all the time.
The poop emoji has been replaced by the GIF from what is it? I can't remember what movie that is. Where that girl sneezes on the side of the tub.
Hall Pass.
Hall Pass. Yeah. We were just talking about that last night.
So
that
good.
movie. I feel much better now. It's like he's like,
You can see the thong line.
it's so bad.
Like, that's next level
It's so
stuff.
bad. Oh man,
Oh,
it
God.
was amazing. All right, guys.
Yeah, this
I
is
think
great.
we did pretty awesome. You actually got us to drink some tequila, which
Yeah.
we had in years. It was good.
It was good.
I didn't know
admit.
if I was going to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
No,
friend.
you're good, man.
Like,
You're
you
good.
can't
We've
come
had-
around here anymore.
Wait, you're a Steelers fan too?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
bourbon and then
Yeah,
yeah, no.
tequila. No.
we've
I
had
can-
vodka on here before. You're good.
I can get past tequila. That's fine. Steelers.
Get past it. Adopt
No,
it.
it was good. Yeah.
You'll get past it. Adopt it.
No, Don, thanks so much for coming on. Definitely want to talk more about OD Greens and how I can help, we can help, whatever we can do. I mean, it's an amazing cause and an amazing model, I guess, of what you're doing and the byproducts. And I'm not talking about lettuce. I'm talking about veterans and helping them. So,
I thought
very,
when I was
very
coming
cool.
here, you guys were gonna like talk about like bourbon. That was all I thought you'd do.
no. Yeah, I understand.
Touche.
Yeah, I got where you're saying that.
Touche.
Marine takes me a second,
I
you know.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll try.
I got it early. Don't worry. I was
No,
right there.
I appreciate you guys having me out. This was fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, very, very cool. We will definitely keep in touch and be sharing some of your shit
Yeah.
because that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I can definitely appreciate what you're doing for the veteran community. And then just for our community as a whole, providing amazing arugula and spinach and
Like how he said that.
Arugula.
He said it.
Arugula. Arugula.
You rolled the U.
It's actually pretty.
arugula. Is that better?
I don't know. It just sounded awesome.
It sounded
He was
good.
right.
I say arugula.
Arugula.
Arugula. Arugula.
But no,
Getting caught up on
very
arugula.
cool business. Love it.
Awesome.
It's great. So I
Yeah.
wish you the best of luck going forward,
Come see you at
especially coming out
the
of COVID.
market over here next week.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be Farmers Market 8 to noon every Saturday.
Yeah, and it's
through
awesome.
October. Yeah.
Cool.
And
And
I
then
will-
I do it all year long because I grow indoors. So you can
Yeah.
buy my stuff online, odgreens.com. Follow me on all the major social media outlets.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. we'll share that stuff.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Don.
If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, the Twitter, and then your favorite podcast of choice.
Check out the website.
Check out the website, www.thetalkingdads.com.
That'll do it for us.
it.
All right.
Very
And
good.
as always,
Raise good humans.
Thank you.
Peace.
Hey guys, if you love what you just heard or watched, and we know you did, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up. Share with your friends and throw us a comment, literally about anything. Your support legit keeps us going. Oh, and don't forget to give us that 5-star rating. We really appreciate you.